Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Trucker Talk. As you might have guessed, I'm Trucker Todd. It's been a crazy week. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. But before we do, let's jump into some of the house cleaning things we want to do. We've got some new channel members. We want to shout them out, as well as the loyal ones that stick with me week after week. Let's get to that screen. All righty. So we'll start with the oldest and work our way up to the newest. Very first channel member was Ramon, then RGB, Robbie Ross, Corey Oatley, John Toohey, Midlife Trucker, Red Raider Reloading, and Randy's Road Life are new channel members this week. So welcome them in. They, as you know, they get a special little icon by their name. They get different emojis when I learn how to do it, and they receive exclusive content and stuff like that prior to everybody else. If you'd like to know more about becoming a channel member, hit the little join button below the video. It's like $5 a month, and you'll be part of that crew. Also, speaking of exclusive videos, we had another one that dropped this afternoon. It showed it was a farewell to the Corvette, and it showed what I got in place of the Corvette. It's a super nice motorcycle. It shows that on there. And I got some cash as well. Not nearly what I wanted, but enough that it should help me get this new truck. Speaking of the new truck, I just found out this morning there's been a delay, but it's a good delay. It's going to be about a week later. The guy that we're getting the truck from had it scheduled for some service work, an overhead and some things like that. And so we're going to have a little bit of a delay because of that. But that's why I titled this video the way I did, Success and Setbacks, because it is a little bit of a setback, but I believe it will ultimately lead to more success. A lot of you have sent me super positive comments that I wish I could read every one of them on here. A lot of you are really stoked about me possibly getting a Freightliner and feel like that's going to be a real good decision. I hadn't released a lot of details yet because, quite frankly, some of them are still a little fuzzy. But as soon as I have everything hammered out where I can reveal that information, I will. But now it's looking like I'm probably going to pick the truck up the weekend after Thanksgiving, and none of this would have been possible if I hadn't traded that Corvette off. Incidentally, the Corvette, and I want to read some of these positive comments. I wish, like I said, I wish I could read everybody's. I just want to read a couple of them because I believe it'll be pertinent to you guys too that are struggling right now in this market and in this economy. But I met the guy in a bank parking lot here in Lubbock because he had a trailer, and I figured it would be easier for him to maneuver in and out of. And I get there, and you can kind of see it in the video. Some of you will be able to see that video later this week. I'll probably release it to everybody on Thursday. But when I shut the driver's door, some of the chrome falls off of the tail light. That car, every time I touched it, something broke on it. And it was a great car. I love driving it. I drove it all over Lubbock for several days. And that car, for whatever reason, was really, I don't want to say luck, but I just had a lot of bad experiences with that car. So I was glad to see it go. And what I got in exchange for it was something that's pretty near perfect. I mean, it's got a few minor scratches, but I mean, it's pretty near perfect. And the money was the most important part. It's going to fund the $22.90, the plane ticket, transfer and insurance, things like that. So all in all, I'm real happy. Now, I'm nowhere near set. I'm still going to have to do some side jobs or sell some more of my things to be in the kind of condition I need to be in to do this whole deal. But none of it would have had a shot in the world without the Corvette going away. So it really was a blessing in disguise. And we're going to get right to y'all's comments here in just a second. But I want to read you a few of these comments because I think it might help some of you guys that are kind of struggling with a little bit of depression, with the feeling like you're a little down on your luck, I want you to think about some of the things that these comments say. And I'm not discounting all the other comments I got. This whole week, you guys have been really supportive with your thoughts, with your prayers, with your comments. And I really appreciate y'all. Now I'm trying to give back to y'all a little bit. Let's see here. Rob sent this one. He said, did you know that the eagle is the only bird that flies directly into a storm? While other birds run from the weather, the eagle actively engages these stronger winds and instead of seeking shelter, uses the turbulence to push itself higher. The storm allows the eagle to enter a space it cannot normally reach in good weather. As a reward for this act of boldness, the eagle is given a broader view of its surroundings, and once above the storm, the eagle is clear of the rough winds, and its flight becomes smoother with less effort. So embrace change, fly into the storm, and you might just be rewarded with a new point of view and a smoother ride. You know, that's something that I'm going to think about the next time I face adversity or something tough, and I hope you will too. Sometimes, you know, the same thing could be said about coal. Under pressure becomes a diamond. Sometimes we need those pressures. We need those stresses in life. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, like another guy was saying this morning, the rumors of my failure are greatly exaggerated. So many people this whole year, oh, Todd, this is it. You're out. When I left Swift. Oh, Todd, you're stupid for leaving Swift. You're never going to make it. What were you thinking? Why would you leave that safety? Why would you challenge yourself? And then when the accident happened, which I am going to say something about the accident tonight. When the accident happened, oh, this is it, Todd. Your trucking career is over. You won't drive for another company. One guy said for 10 years. By the way, today I had to get motorcycle insurance to move the title over into my name. That accident doesn't even show on my driving record. Now, before everybody gets up in arms, it may show up at some point. There's a lot going on this time of year. The state could be behind. But I reported an accident to the insurance company, and they're like, you don't have an accident. We're looking at your MVR. I'm like, trust me, I had one. They're like, well, we're not going to count it because it ain't on here. So for all of you that think that accident's what's holding me up, it's not even showing on my MVR, or at least the one that the insurance company ran. And here's another one. One more. I think we'll do one more and then we'll move on. I'll look and see if there's any more that I want to pull from today, but just a lot of comments like this. And I thought that one was really good about the eagle. Here's another one about a buffalo. Just like the buffalo, the cow will run from an oncoming storm and exhaust itself and then wind up weathering the storm anyway. The buffalo walks straight into the storm and straight out of the other side into clear skies. Yeah, another thing I would say about that, Hereford cattle are more known in cold weather to bundle together, to stay warm, to use each other's body heat. And I think that's kind of what's happened here. When things got tough, all of my, I don't want to call y'all supporters. I'd rather call y'all friends, viewers, friends, whatever you prefer to be called. Y'all kind of circled around me and were very supportive. And I feel like we all kind of weathered the storm together. Some of you, I know for a fact, really, really struggled with what was going on and really took it hard. And I think we're on the other side now. I'm feeling a lot better about things, a lot better about my prospects. Now that we've got a truck lined up, even if we have to wait another week for it. And I really appreciate all these comments like this. Like I said, I could do a whole 3-hour show reading comments, emails, things like that of stuff that you guys have said that hit me at just the right time and were helpful. And so I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I want to say thank you to all of y'all that became channel members, not only this week, but in the past few weeks since we started doing this. I appreciate that. And I'm trying to get better about putting out content. I want to give y'all, I don't want to make a video just to make a video because I know how valuable y'all's time is. So I want to make sure I have something to say when I get behind the telephone. But anyway, let's jump into the comments. Let's say hi to a few people that are already here. Very first in today was Asphalt Jungle. Says, stay strong, brother. Yes, sir. I'm honestly feeling the best I've felt in a month. Back is still a little stiff last couple of days, but overall, I feel the best I've felt in over a month. So I thank y'all for sticking with me and listening to my whining and all of that. Or I don't feel like a whine, but evidently a few of y'all do. Gary Cook says, what are you giggling about? My wife's laughing at me and I don't know why. I think she's probably been the one that's heard me whining. That's what it is. She's laughing because all the whining happens when the cameras aren't rolling. Gary Cook says, hey, Trucker Todd. Also, hello to everyone else. Hope all is well with everyone. Well, thank you, sir. And new channel member and guy I've known for several years. We used to work at Roadrunner together. Good friend. Randy's Road Life. Check out his channel if you hadn't checked him out. He's got him a YouTube channel. He says, aha, I'm the third one here. Yes, sir, you are. And another channel member. By the way, while I got him up on screen, look at that cool little icon thing that shows up next to their name. To me, it looks like kind of like rain on a windshield. I'm not sure what it looks like to you guys. But anyway, he says, hello, my friend, parked in Ellenwood, Georgia. I think your CEO is headed that way. Last video I saw, I don't know if he's already been there or not. Roger Berry says, I'm here parked in Little Rock. Wow. There used to be over by that Petro, down that little access road. I guess it's still there, that red shack that had really good barbecue. For many years, you could give them like 10 extra bucks and they would just put a ridiculous amount of meat on there. Now you give them the 10 extra bucks and they don't really put any extra meat. I hadn't been there in a lot of years, but it used to be really, really good. Keith says, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Keith. Thank you for being here. Another channel member, John Toohey, says he's here. Well, good to have you, sir. Did you try to call me either last night or today? I think I might owe you a call back. RTB Truckin' says, hello, Todd. Hello, RTB. And channel member Red Raider Reloading, also a new channel member. Hello, Trucker Todd and the rest of the Trucker Todd groupies. Just kidding. Yeah, I bet they don't want to be called groupies. You're going to get me beat up, Red Raider. Matthew Miller says, here. Good deal, man. I'm glad you're here. And Ian MacArthur says, good evening. Good evening, sir. Thank you for being here. And the very first channel member, Ramon, says he's here. Good to have you. Brian Walton says, what's up, buddy? Not much, man. I'm kind of in a celebratory mood, despite those of you that didn't see it Sunday and I missed the game. But I hear that Dak Prescott really struggled in that game. I hear the Cowboys couldn't put up any points. The defense couldn't stop anybody. No, that's not what I heard at all. Keith says the skies are clearing up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The little dark cloud over me is going away. And I think you can tell last video and this video, my mood's starting to come up. I called Scott early for me, 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. We had a real productive talk, and so I feel like everything's in good shape. I'm about 95% sure that I'll be able to continue working with him and his company, and so I'm pretty excited about that. Lance says, got rear-ended 4 years ago, and I have to explain it if I apply anywhere. I think it's off now. From what I understand, That kind of stuff stays on your record for 5 years. You only get points counted against you for 3, but a lot of places will ask you if you've had anything in the past 5 years. My deal's kind of weird because what do? Do you say, nope, I hadn't had any accidents, and then later they find it and you get fired? Or do you say, yeah, I had an accident and they can't find any proof of it, and it may never show up? For me, I'm kind of doing what I do with these videos. I'm doing honesty is the best policy. I say, yes, there was. Here's what happened, as much as I can tell. And then whatever they decide's fine. But it's all kind of mute now because I'm going to be able to stay with Scott, which is what I wanted. And for those of you saying I'm staying with Scott because I have nowhere else to go back and watch the videos from the beginning of this whole little ordeal with my truck breaking down. That's always been the goal. It's never been, oh, well, I'm going to go somewhere else first chance I get, and I'll stay with Scott if I don't have any other options. I love what I'm doing. Those of you that have talked to me on the phone know that I love what I'm doing. So there's a lot of stuff being made up, a lot of funny business going around, but no, everything's good. And I'm really feeling good about how things are going right now. Jordan says, you will get through this. Just keep pushing. Yes, sir. I agree with you. And you guys, look, I know that y'all are struggling too. Y'all are going through stuff. The market stinks right now. One guy emailed me, it was either last night or this morning, and he was talking about he's making half what he was a year ago. And that's tough. He said, I'm still making money. I'm still getting by, but I'm making half what I was making. And so a lot of you are in that position. You got used to a certain lifestyle, and now you're living on, 50 or 70% of what you used to. And it's tough, but we've just got to keep pushing, keep going through. We're going to get through this. And then when the rates come back up and things start getting better, we're all going to be sitting pretty. But this time, and I'm not just saying y'all, I'm saying me too, we got to be smart. We got to be putting money back. Trucking goes in cycles. Learn from the donkey. Don't go out and buy a Corvette like I did. Save your money. And then when times get tight again, you're ready for it. But somebody also felt like I was really depressed and negative in my videos, and I don't feel like I am. I'm pretty upbeat. I'm pretty optimistic right now. I don't expect a big change in the market before the end of the year, but I think we can weather this storm if we just watch our P's and Q's, keep our costs in line, and most importantly, just get out and work, but work smart. Ted says, hello, Mr. Todd. Sorry I'm late in Baytown at the TA getting a tire fix. Man, that stinks. Well, get a load headed northwest and come by and say hi. Jonah says, hey, what happened to your KW? The KW's gone. So basically what happened, I took it in the shop because I had no turn signals on the left side of the trailer. I had checked the pigtail. I'd checked all the fuses, everything I could check, the relays. And I'd even taken it for second opinions. I'd gone to the Loves here in Lubbock that I know one of the mechanics there real well. He's very experienced, a good guy. And he's like, man, this has got to go to the dealer. I need wiring schematics and stuff that PACCAR's just not going to part with. Took it to the dealer. They said, hey, we'll get it in a couple of days. It sat there over a week before they even looked at it. Then they looked at it and determined after a few days that the primary control module, known as the PCM, which is the main computer, was bad and needed to be replaced. Then they ordered it. That was like another 5 days. There was also a minor oil leak coming from the oil pressure sending unit. I had asked them to fix that as well. And the bunk heater needed some work, and they were going to fix that as well. Originally, the bill started off looking like it was going to be about $800. As it got more and more in depth, by the time we got done, we were at $4,970. Might as well call it $5,000, and we were over 30 days later. As a course of during that time, I got behind on the payments by, I think, 2.5 weeks. Grand total by the end, I was 3.5 weeks behind. The finance company was unwilling to work with me anymore. And hey, let's be clear here. Let's not attack the finance company. They're under no contractual obligation or legal obligation or even moral or ethical obligation to work with me on payments or nothing else. Technically, if I'm 1 day late, I'm in violation of the contract. So I'm not beating up on the finance company. They made a business decision. They decided to part ways with me. I went out, I cleaned out the truck. And that's kind of how that went down. So I do not have the Kenworth anymore. And since that time, I've been looking at other options. Those options have involved everything from being a company driver to doing a lease purchase to getting a truck and coming back to SRO Logistics, which is where I'm at now and where my preference has been from the beginning. You can go back and watch my videos. I've got the best job I've ever had in or out of trucking. And so I want to stay at SRO Logistics. And recently an opportunity came up to get a truck, 2017 Freightliner Cascadia. Is it my dream truck? No. Is it exactly what I want? No. But it's a really good option that allows me to continue working at SRO Logistics. And quite honestly, I feel blessed to have this opportunity before me. And so rather than sit around and complain about what I don't have or what I wish I had, I'm really grateful for the opportunities that are before me. Now, beyond that, I'm really not in a position to comment much more. It's possible by Thursday I might be able to show you some pictures or tell you a little bit more about it. Obviously, the weekend after Thanksgiving, when I pick it up, there'll be some videos made and those will be released. But the big focus is going to be getting the truck back to Texas, picking up my trailer and getting to work. And I'm going to be working like you've never seen me work before because I want to take a couple of days off at Christmas. And so I'm grateful that I'm going to get to be here for Thanksgiving. There was some question as to if I was going to be able to make that work or not. I've got 2 different Thanksgiving get-togethers to go to, one with my son and his family and one with my uncle and his family. And so it's nice that I'll be able to attend both of those. And obviously, I probably won't put out a video on Thanksgiving Day. You never know. I may put out a short or something, show what we're eating, or if something funny or interesting happens. But there won't be probably a live stream on Thursday for sure. So anyway, let's get to the next comment. Skyline says, "Hello, Todd. I'm parked for the night in Jackson, Georgia." Well, thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate it. Gary Cook says, "My thoughts and prayers are with all those affected in the bus crash on I-70 in Ohio. It's a terrible tragedy that occurred." I just caught a glimpse of it right before I came on the air, so I hadn't got to read the whole story. But it sounds like a mess up there. It kind of puts everything in perspective. While we're sitting here, complaining about things in our own lives, there's a whole lot of people that lost a family member tonight, and their situation trumps ours in a lot of cases. So, yeah, thoughts and prayers to all of them. And I wish I'd have seen the story a little earlier and could have read up on it and talked about it tonight. But I'll try to do a little research after the show, and maybe I can do a recorded video for tomorrow or something. Yes, sir. Red Raider Reloading says the Cowboys turned into an eagle over the weekend. Yeah, they were on fire. Dak had 404 yards passing. He did, from what I understand, throw an interception on their first drive, and then after that, it was like something clicked, and he was near perfect. I saw 2 sportscasters arguing about if he was a top 5 quarterback or not. I think he is. I mean, I'm not going to get on here and tell you I think he's Patrick Mahomes, but I am going to get on here and tell you I think he's good enough in the right circumstances that he could go to a Super Bowl. Now, is it this year? I don't know, but he's playing a lot better football than he's played in several seasons. Robbie Ross, channel member, also says, by the way, Red Raider Reloading was a channel member. I don't know if I said that or not. Says he got a load to the Beach City, Texas for Friday delivery. That sounds like a good run. Russell says he just did 607 today. That's a good day. Put $1 or $2 in your pocket. And did 650 the day before. And channel member Red Raider Reloading says 650 is a good day. Yeah, it is, especially where Russell works. That's keeping that door closed. And another thing people don't think about when you run like that is you don't have as much stop and go, so your fuel economy is a little better. So it's not going to be a ton better, but you're going to make a little extra money that day. If you're one of these truck stop cowboys that you're drag racing from truck stop to truck stop, you burn more fuel taking off and stopping, burns more fuel than if you're at a steady, consistent speed going down the interstate. Red Raider Reloading channel member says I'll do 7:30 by 3 time I get home in the morning. Wow. Well, that's pretty amazing for what you do too. So Red Raider Reloading goes to a lot of grocery stores and they unload him there, and you can type some time there. So a lot of times, and sometimes it's multiple stops within the same city. I used to do something similar to what he does. And so that can be a challenge. I don't know if when I was doing what you were doing, if I ever got to 750, I think about 650 is all I could ever muster. Russell says, oh, yeah, I've been running hard. That's what it's going to take. The company you're at right now needs drivers like you and Robbie Ross. They're kind of struggling right now, and you guys are going to be the mules that save the company. Y'all have got to weed out those guys that are showing up late for deliveries and things like that. Right now, the difference between the companies that make it and the companies that don't is going to come down to the guys that can pick up freight on time and deliver freight on time. It's going to purely come down to service. And the brokers that are going to make it are going to be the ones that can offer a fair rate to the drivers while still making enough money to keep their doors open. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy for anybody, but that's what it's going to take to make it. One of the reasons we do so good over here at SRO is we got a reputation. We get there. We do it legally. We do it safely, but we get it done. If we tell you we're going to be there at 3 p.m. tomorrow, by golly, we're there. And if I can be a couple hours early, I am. Tim Back Trucking is here. Hey, man, thank you for being here. Red Raider Reloading channel member says you forgot to send me the video link to the CEO we talked about. Oh, dang, I sure did, Red Raider. If Paula will remind me, I'll do it at the end of the show. Can you remind me, Paula? Hey, Christian Harlow is in the house. He says, I'm here. Thank you for being here, sir. 704 miles is my record. I did that about 3 times, but most of the time, 659, 679 at 68 miles an hour. Yeah, I've gotten the 7s a few times, but I've always had larger cars. That helps. And it depends what part of the country you're in. If you're running out west, it's a lot easier than you're running the northeast or the southeast or something like that. Russell says, got the load I'm scheduled on for tomorrow. Interwar or the original delivery for the 16th. Ah, okay. There you go. Christian says he's got a video coming up on driveaway. So if you guys are interested in driving for a driveaway carrier where you deliver new trucks and stuff like that, check out Christian's channel, and he'll get you up to date on that stuff. It sounds like it'd be fun, especially for a single guy. You fly around the country, pick up trucks, deliver them, fly back, get some more. Sounds like it could be a good time for a single guy. So check that out. Christian will be happy to give you the details on it. Tim Back Trucking said just delivered a 2-stopper a day early. SRO don't mess around, on time, safely, and legal. Yeah, I'm glad Tim mentioned that. He's kind of springboarding off what I said a minute ago. Not only did he deliver those 2 stops on time, but he got them there a day early. And so that's why we have a lot of opportunities open up to us. And one of the reasons why it's important to stay there is, people know what they get when they make a deal with us. If they hire a Tim Back or a Trucker Todd, they know we're going to be on time to pick it up. We're probably going to be a couple hours early, and we're going to deliver it on time. And we're not going to be late because we overslept or something like that. It's going to be a road closure. It's going to be a breakdown that we can verify with repair receipts or something like that. And SRO makes us take good care of our equipment. So we're not going to have many breakdowns because, a tire can happen to anybody, but we're not going to have a lot of major stuff, generally speaking, because we're on top of the maintenance and taking care of our equipment. So not only is it good to work for a place like that, but it's good to be surrounded by people like Tim and people like Scott that are professionals and take their job seriously. Russell says instead. Okay, so let's reread his comment with instead in there. Got the load I'm scheduled on for tomorrow instead of the original delivery for the 16th. Oh, so you got yours a day early too. Right, isn't today the 14th? Paula, is today the 14th? Okay. Red Raider Reloading channel member says, I get the 2 extra hours of driving due to the Texas 12-hour rule. Yeah, I'm ashamed to say I don't know the Texas intrastate login deals. I've always been OTR, but I always heard y'all get a couple extra hours there. Gary says, does SRO Logistics do any Amazon loads? So SRO Logistics doesn't dispatch anybody. Everybody is self-dispatch. So you can pull your own loads off load boards, and there happens to be Amazon loads on there. You can get set up on that. If you want to get set up directly with Amazon, you could work with Scott to get carrier packets over there and make that a reality, I would think. I haven't approached Amazon or Scott about doing that, but I don't see why it'd be an issue. That'd be a great question to email to Scott at safety@srologistics.com. It's also in the ticker if you need to see it again. But yeah, there's no dispatcher there. It's all you. You pick what you want. You go home when you want. You go out when you want. All of that. So it's a lot more freedom than what most people are used to. And quite frankly, some people cannot do it. Some people need somebody to tell them when to get up, when to go to work, when to stop. Some people need that. But if you're looking for micromanagement, that's not the place. He's not a micromanager. It's your business. Run it like you need to run it. You know what you need to do. And that's part of why the hiring process, in my opinion, takes so long, is that he wants to make sure he's hiring a professional and not a bonehead or somebody that's going to work 2 weeks and quit or something like that. You guys saw in my situation, I had every excuse in the world. I could have quit if I'd have wanted to, and most people wouldn't have thought any less of me. They'd have said, well, Todd had bad luck, he's out. But you saw I was hanging on, fighting tooth and nail, and it ended up paying off. And that's what he's looking for, in my opinion. You can ask him. I think he's looking for people that are loyal, that are looking for a place to stay and not just a job until something better comes along. For me, I don't know of anything better. I'm sure in a country this size there is something better, but I'm very, very content where I'm at. Very, very content. So that's what I would say about that. Keith says, single guy here. What kind of money is drive away? Hey, if you're still here, Christian, Keith wants to know what kind of money you could make a week take home, I'm assuming. Can you give him a gross estimate or a take home estimate? I know Christian's told me in the past that after all the dust settles, he usually nets about $1 a mile. Red Raider Reloading channel member says, I almost applied to a company in Denton to deliver new trucks, but I got into a relationship. Yeah. Well, and you got a good job now. I mean, I get it. Some days are better than other, but that's a nice place to work. And we're respectful to brokers, shippers, and receivers. Yeah, that Tim Back says, that falls under what I was saying a minute ago about professionalism. They know, the brokers know what they're getting when they send Trucker Todd in there, or they send Scott, or they send Tim back in there. They don't worry about, are we going to show up in flip-flops and not showered in 3 weeks? They know they're getting a professional that's going to show up on time. We're going to talk to the people right. We're going to secure our cargo. We're going to put straps if we need to. It's just, it's like national carriers used to call what they had the elite fleet. We're kind of, in my opinion, kind of an elite fleet. And it's not that somebody's calling us every morning and nagging us and yelling at us, Tim, you need to be professional. Trucker Todd, you need to be professional. It's kind of a package deal. It's, Scott knew what he was getting when he hired us, and we knew what we got when we hired on. And so it's just everybody doing what they said they would do. And if there is something, if we get a broker that we just can't deal with for whatever reason, or, something like that, then we'll get Scott involved. And, there was that one load I called Scott on where they were like, it was Friday evening, and they said, we want you to pick the load up tonight, but we're not going to give you the pickup number till Monday. And I called Scott, and I was like, hey, I can't sit here all weekend. He's like, I agree. So he's like, let me call him. And he called him, and he got basically the same thing. He said, I called 5 different people, and I never could get it either. He's like, we're jumping off the load. I said, man, Scott, I hate to do that because that dings you. He says, well, I'm not going to let you sit all weekend unless you just want to. I said, no, I don't want to sit here all weekend. I can grab something else. So he got me off the load. And then Monday morning, they called me and they paid me a TONU. So he didn't get dinged, and I still got paid and got another load that next morning. All it cost me was a 10-hour break. And I was tired anyway. I spent the night there. Next morning, I got the exact same load with a different broker, and I got the TONU. But that's the kind of deal that Tim and I have with Scott, is that, if we need somebody to go to bat for us and we're right, he'll go to bat for us. Now, if I showed up 4 hours late and they said, hey, we can't get you the pickup number now until Monday, then he probably wouldn't have went to bat for me. He'd have probably said, well, you were 4 hours late. You're going to have to sit there. But because I had all my ducks in a row and I had done everything I was supposed to do, he was willing to go to bat for me. And that's the kind of stuff, I don't normally talk about it in videos, but that's the kind of stuff where that's when you know you're at a good company. That's when you know you made a good decision. It's not when everything's going great and you're getting big paychecks. It's when crap hits the fan, things are going crazy, and your carrier's standing right there with you, that all right, I made a good decision. I'm at a good place. Tim, answering the other guy's question, Gary Cook was asking about if SRO does Amazon loads. Tim says he's done an Amazon load for SRO Logistics. Yeah, as I was saying, Tim dispatches himself. I dispatch myself when I have a truck. And obviously, Scott dispatches himself. His other drivers dispatch themselves. There's not a dispatcher. So as long as it meets the criteria, it doesn't go to Oregon, doesn't go to California, doesn't go to Canada. It's not hazmat. There's a few little limitations like that. But as long as it meets the criteria, he doesn't nitpick us about what we haul. And so, again, just more freedom. And that's what I love more than money. I love freedom. I love being able to not do something just because I don't want to do it, or do something because I wanted to do it. And I was worried about that, quite honestly, when I hired on. I thought, what if I book a load that gets me home that's at a lower rate than what he thinks it should be? Is he going to call me? Or are we going to have an argument? And he's never once called me and said, hey, Todd, I can't believe you booked that load. What were you thinking? One time I booked one, I had to get out of the Northwest for $1.58 a mile. And I thought I was going to hear it. And I called him and said, Scott, I booked a bad one. And he said, well, why is it bad? And I told him about it. He said, that's all right. Sometimes you got to do that. He's like, it's your business. As long as you can still make money, and go for it. So that was nice that wasn't a confrontational situation. That he's like, sometimes you got to take one like that. And so that's where him being a driver himself helps a lot, because he knows how it is out here and what we go through. And quite frankly, it was something different than what I was used to. I was used to carriers that were just looking for an excuse to jump on you about something. And I haven't had that experience with him. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to work, honestly. Russell says the owner ops that won't make it is the ones that refuse to drive a lot. I think that's some of it. I think in this market, you have to be willing to do multi-stop loads. And I used to be one of those drivers. One pick, one drop. That's it. If it had 2 picks, 1 drop, or 1 pick, 2 drops, I'm not doing it. Those days are gone. I did one, oh gosh, it was either 6 or 9 stops. I don't remember the exact number because it was a few months ago, but I'll do what I got to do now. Well, shoot, that one, Paula, that one that I did going to the stores with those freezers, what was it, 11 stops? 11 or 12 stops. I did one recently that was 11 or 12 stops. I almost slipped and said what company it was for, but I caught myself. Red Raider Reloading channel member says, does SRO allow drivers to wear flip-flops at warehouses? You know, I actually remember reading a deal in one of the deals where they actually have a dress code. And it's my understanding, and I know it was a joke, it was a funny joke, but I'm going to answer it because somewhere out there, there's a guy watching this video that hadn't had a shower in 6 weeks. And he's scratching his toes while he's got his flip-flops on. And he's wondering. So it did say, and I think Scott even brought it up in orientation, he doesn't want you wearing flip-flops to customers. He's not real big on them at truck stops, but if you want to wear them around truck stops, I think he's okay with it. I think it's a terrible idea because there's potholes in the truck stops and you could stump your toe. There's usually glass and everything else out there. So for me, it's a safety deal. But definitely he doesn't want you wearing them at customers or things like that. He doesn't mind shorts as long as they're in good condition and they look okay. It just, he just wants you to be presentable and professional. Russell says, now I'm getting engaged. There you go. Yes, sir. You are engaged. Skyline says, an SRO, do you need your own authority or work under them? No, he requires you to run under his authority, and that's fine. I've never had a desire to get my own authority until recently. Some of you talked to me about starting my own company and letting y'all lease on and run your own trucks under me. I considered it for a little while, but man, things are going so smooth right now. Scott covers trailer repairs, things like that. So I don't see a big incentive to get my own authority, to have all that extra risk, to have all that stress of hiring and firing drivers and all of that. I think I'm pretty content doing what I'm doing. And might I make a little more? And I say might I make a little more with my own authority? Well, maybe, maybe not. But one of my drivers, say I did it and I leased on 10 drivers and one of them had an accident, I could lose everything. And whereas if I'm driving for SRO and one of his drivers has an accident, I'm not going to lose everything. And so, plus I've gone to dinner with Scott at SRO Logistics several times now, and he's the only person I know that gets more messages than me on his phone. I mean, he's got brokers that are asking him if he's got trucks in this area, that area. He's got salesmen trying to sell him stuff. He's got insurance companies offering him stuff. So I think while there's the potential that you might make slightly more money, I think I'm pretty content doing what I'm doing right now. Now, ask me again in 5 or 10 years and we'll see. But right now, okay. Right now, I'm content doing what I'm doing. All right, have fun. I'm not going to give you a hug or nothing because you're not going out with the sheet over you. Everybody's going to miss the ghost. All right, y'all tell Paula bye. She's on her way out. As soon as she leaves, we can talk about her. Let's see. Tim says, I never said I showered, just said I'm on time and respectful. There you go. Well, my policy, and Scott knows this, I take a shower once a month, whether I need one or not. No, that's not true. I'm a shower hog. I take a lot of showers because my ES Advantage fuel card that I promote in the description of the video, it has, you can get 2 showers a day, and I've never taken 2 in one day. But I try to get one every day, but it's usually every other day. Sometimes a third day, but rarely. And so I'm a shower hog. I get as many as I can get. Christian says, I'm taking a run from London, Tennessee to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Gross pay is $2,950. Hey, Christian, how many miles is that? Is that roughly, like you said, about 2,900 miles? Are you looking at about $1 a mile? It's a UPS package truck. And what is a UPS truck governed at? Because they haul butt when I see them on the highway. Corey says, I'm behind on your content. What happened to the KW? Yeah, we've covered it a couple of times. Basically, it was in the shop over a month. I got about 2.5 or 3 payments behind, something like that, which is weeks because they do a weekly payment. The finance company decided they didn't want to work with me no more. They asked me to remove my contents from the truck, and so that's what I did. Tim says, Paula, quit playing with the microwave. She heats up her coffee more than anybody I know. She likes hot coffee, and she drinks a ton of it. I only drink hot coffee when it's super cold outside, but I drink iced coffee every chance I get. But tonight's episode is brought to you by blueberry flavored, let me see if I can get it, blueberry flavored Red Bull. Good stuff. I like the Juneberry better, but they're out of it at the store. So Gary Cook says, what ocean is that in the background? Fly Rabbit, who's in here sometimes, I don't think he's in here tonight, took these pictures for me. I've got several of them. He lives in Florida, and they're about a quarter of a mile from his house, from what I understand. One of the pictures had his daughter in it, and so Google Pixels have a magic eraser. And I went in there and erased his daughter out of the picture so that she wouldn't be receiving comments or nothing like that. Russell says, I loved being leased to a character. Sorry, my voice. Russell says, I love being leased to a carrier. I love it where I'm at and doing well, less stress. Yeah, there's some definite pros to being leased to a carrier, and I think the smaller the better. Christian says, get your own authority and I'll run the back office and handle all the human resources. Maybe one day. Like I said, right now I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. Ted says, did you sell the vet? So for channel members, there's a video that came out today. You guys will be able to see it on Thursday morning if you're not a channel member. But I actually traded the vet for a super nice motorcycle and a little bit of cash. And cash is just about enough to take care of all the expenses I'm going to have moving to another truck. Like the 2290, moving the insurance over. I've got to get an airplane ticket, some things like that. I'll have some diesel bringing the truck back to Texas to pick up the trailer, unless I can get a power-only load or something like that, which I bet there's not going to be many of those going to West Texas, unless I can get something to the Midland, Odessa area or something like that. So the vet is gone, not a minute too soon. It was falling apart when I was showing it to the guy. Fortunately, I had told him before he ever came. He came from east of Dallas, so a little over 400 miles. And I told him, I said, hey, before you drive all this way, I want to tell you everything I know about the Corvette. And I want you to tell me everything you know about the motorcycle. And so we went back and forth. When he got there, he fell in love with the car. He had a 76. Mine was a 75 when he was in high school. And it had a manual like mine and everything. And he had always wanted another one, and this was the first one he had found that was in decent condition. So he just went nuts when he saw it. I fell in love with the motorcycle. It was a match made in heaven. And he had just got the oil changed. He had serviced one of the forks. It has a tuner on it, has aftermarket exhaust. He had put a Bluetooth thing on it that hooks with my iPhone, so I can play like Spotify and stuff on it while I'm riding it. He gave me 2 helmets so my wife and I can ride together. And the goal has always been to sell that bike. But honestly, it's the nicest bike I've ever owned or ridden, for that matter. I mean, it's nice. Big, heavy bike, weighs a little over 900 pounds. I think it's 1,731 cc's. It's a 106. And so I called a couple of motorcycle places here in Lubbock to see if they were buying bikes right now. They said this time of year they're generally not. So I think the plan's going to be to keep it. I got that big shop. I'll keep it in there. I'll ride it on good weather days. It's supposed to be 70 tomorrow in Lubbock, so I'll probably pull it out and ride it tomorrow. And then when the weather warms up and bikes start selling again, I'll sell it then. If I get in a bind and need cash before then, I can always run it on Facebook Marketplace or on Craigslist, and it'll be a lot easier to sell than that vet was. So that's kind of what's going on, Ted. Hey, Skyline with the assist. He says, don't forget to like the video, guys. Yeah. What I need right now, after being off as long as I had, is everybody take just a second, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure to give me a thumbs up. It's right below the video. It doesn't even take 2 seconds to do, and it'll make a big difference. Christian answering me about the UPS truck says it's governed at 75. It's $22.66. And for $29.50, I pay fuel and my travel. The truck gets about 18 miles a gallon and use pump gas. Yeah, it's going to be about, like you said, I think you're going to finish out around $1 a mile when all is said and done. So good for you. Of course, I don't have a passport, so I can't go to Canada, but that's a pretty decent run, and then they'll fly you back. or you fly yourself back, I guess, because you pay your own travel. I was looking, speaking of that, I was looking at travel from Lubbock over to Mississippi to pick up this other truck, and it's only about $60 difference between a bus and an airplane ticket. The bus takes 24 hours. You're in a bus 24 hours. The airplane takes 4 hours, a little over 4 hours. So I'm probably going to fly. I'd rather pay the $60 and get there, same day and start heading back. That's going to put me to work a day earlier for $50 or $60. I mean, No Fear says, "Hey everyone, hey No Fear, thank you for being here." Let's see here. Red Raider Reloading channel member says, "Gotta go, Todd. Talk to you later." Yeah, give me a call sometime, man. I thank you very much. He now that he's gone, we'll talk about him. He's turned out to be a really good friend. I used to work for a company that contracted to the company he works at. That's how I met him. And we were always friendly to each other and stuff and said hi to each other then. But he found me on YouTube, and when he told me who he was, we've started talking on the phone and getting to know each other a little better. And he's a good guy. I'm glad to call him a friend. We're going to hang out one of these days. It can't be that hard if we both live in Lubbock. SRJ says, "Who do I call to buy a truck with no money down, poor credit, and a recent truck repossession?" I would say any mega carrier will lease purchase you one. I would say also that if you've been trucking for a while and you have made some relationships, some doors will open for you. I'm in a similar situation. That's why I wasn't sure if you were serious or joking. But I don't have a lot of money down right now. My credit has taken a beating, and I have a recent truck repossession. And people are still calling me with truck offers. I've got at least 4 different truck offers I could do right now with little or no money down. If you're in a position where you can't find anybody, you might have to be a company driver for a while and save up some money. There's no shame in that. But hopefully if you've been driving for a while, your name's got out there and people know who you are, and opportunities are opening up for you. Russell says, "Congrats on selling the vet. Sky's the limit for you, Todd. You're going to have a great comeback." I think so. I think so, my friend. I appreciate the support, though. Russell says, "We go through minor setbacks for major comebacks." You know what's funny, though? The people that were criticizing me the most are people that A, either never drove a truck, weren't even truck drivers, or B, they were company drivers, or C, they were guys that had like 5 or 6 years experience. All of the guys that had 10 or 15 years or 20 plus years of driving were going, "Todd, this stuff happens. Don't take it bad. Hang in there. It's going to get better." So I just kind of laughed it off. There's some people that want to spin a narrative, and they want me to say things that just aren't true. And I'm not. I'm going to be honest with you guys. And when I said, "Hey, I think I'm going to be able to stay with SRO Logistics, and I think everything's going to be okay," I had 3 very prominent YouTubers that sent me horrible, nasty messages, making comments about my kids, making comments about me, just very mean stuff I can't even repeat on here. I did have some death threats. I did have some physical threats, things like that, and I laughed it off. They're keyboard warriors. We used to call them CB Rambos. Most of them would never say this stuff to my face, and for the most part, they're cowards. It makes them feel good kicking other people when they're down, but I'm not down. This was a setback, without a doubt, and I even put setback in the title of this video. But you notice I also put success in the title of this video. And I'm going to be successful mainly because I'm too stubborn to fail. Gary says, "Is the motorcycle a Harley?" No, but that's funny. It is a Polaris Victory Cross Country 2013 model. And my son, I took it down the first day I had it. I rode it down to his house. And a matter of fact, I filmed part of the video there that the rest of you'll see on Thursday. And he took his girlfriend on it, and it inspired them to buy a bike. So they're looking at a Harley right now, and hopefully they'll have it in a few days, and we can go out riding together before I have to get back to work. But I was getting 47 miles a gallon running, 78, 79 miles an hour on the highway. I couldn't believe that big, heavy bike could get that kind of fuel economy. And I was jamming out with Spotify while I was going too. Alaska says, just got in. What did I miss? Quite a bit. I've circled around a couple of times, so I hate to circle around. But you can get most everything in the first 11 minutes of this video. I'm sure that we'll circle around. You'll kind of catch up if you hang around for a little bit. No Fear says, ride the bike. Yeah, what I'm thinking about doing, because keep in mind, Midlife Trucker sent me that GoPro stuff, and it has a head kit on it where I can wear it on my head. I'm thinking about taking it out and riding it and kind of riding around Lubbock, and I think that might be an interesting video. Y'all can see just how bad Lubbock drivers are. Gary Cook says, where are you buying the truck from? So some of that I'm not supposed to talk about yet. I should be able to do it here pretty soon. But I can tell you that several people were involved in this transaction. And it's a lot of networking and things like that. There was several people involved. I just don't know if they want to be made public or not, but there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that took place. And quite honestly, I wasn't involved in all of it until the later stages. And then they contacted me. They said, hey, Todd, we got this truck and this is what we're looking to do. Are you interested? And just like I said, building a good work reputation, working hard has opened some doors for me. And right now I've got 4 active offers of things I could do. And all 4 of those offers involve me staying with SRO Logistics. So I would say there's about a 95% chance that I'm going to be staying with SRO Logistics, but it'll probably be the weekend after Thanksgiving at the earliest before I'm back in a truck. And, I'll be having a phone call probably tomorrow. And hopefully by the Thursday show, I can answer that question a little more clearly. SRJ, more like voluntary surrender, not repo. I guess, they asked me to give it up and I did. I didn't put up a fight. I didn't go hide the truck somewhere. I didn't vandalize the truck. I'm just not that kind of guy. If the finance company for the travel trailer or the finance company for my pickup called me in the morning and said, hey, Todd, we want you to bring the stuff back, then I'm going to do it. I'm not going to vandalize it. I'm not going to hide it, things like that. I did repos for a while in Amarillo in my younger years when I thought I was 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And I hated when people hid vehicles or made it impossible to get. It's kind of like being in a relationship that the other party doesn't want to be in anymore. If you're with a girl or a guy, whatever you're into, because I realize I'm talking to a large audience here, and you realize they don't want to be with you anymore, don't cry and beg them to keep you around. Just move on. You don't want to talk somebody into being with you every day. And it was the same thing with this finance company. They called me several times after the deal went through and said, hey, Todd, we'd like to work it out where you can get back in the truck. And we had a couple of conversations that I thought was really productive, and we were going to get somewhere. They had a conversation with Scott that I thought was really productive and that we were going to get somewhere. And then they did a 180 at the last minute and blew the deal up. So rather than be vindictive and go pour gasoline in the tank or go pour sawdust in the oil or slash the tires or anything like that. I just complied with them and moved on. So I consider it a repo. A lot of people would probably consider it a voluntary surrender. A lot of people think there's a distinction. There's really not. I mean, if I used to have this at the car lots all the time. People would say, you'd ask them on their credit app, have you ever had a repo? They'd say no. Then you'd pull their credit. They'd had 3 repos, and they'd say, well, that's not a repo. I gave it back. Well, the finance company still considers it a repo. Gary Cook says, with your KW getting repoed, will that go on your credit report? I would expect it to, and it wouldn't surprise me if they took me to small claims court or tried to sue me for the balance. I can't control what they do or don't do, but they made a decision, I made a decision, and I live with the consequences. And it's like you say, well, they made a decision. Yeah, they said they wanted it back, but I also made a decision. They contacted me later on, and there was a deal that could have been worked out. The problem is the deal they wanted was they wanted me to make like 1 or 2 payments and then start back at a payment and a half. The problem with that was I was going to have to borrow some money to pay the repair bill. And by the time I paid the repair bill plus a payment and a half to them, there wasn't going to be any meat on the bone left for me. And what I mean is, we're about to enter December, where we know that already slow freight is going to get slower for about 4 or 5 weeks. So if I enter into a deal right now where things are really, really tight and go into a situation where they're tighter, and then I have a tire that needs to be replaced, or I need a minor repair. Let's say it's a $1,500, $2,000 repair, and I haven't had time to recoup because I'm just barely getting by trying to pay everybody back. And they're going to say, well, we already helped you. Now I'm stuck in some other state, broke down, and they're not wanting to help me. And then they're going to want to repo it then. And then on top of them, I'm going to have where I got the other part of it financed, wanting their money. And I just saw it as a train wreck waiting to happen. So what I told them I would do, the suggestion I made is, let me go 2 weeks with no truck payment, and then start me at 1 payment a week, regular payment, and take the payments I missed and move them to the end of my loan. That way I can pay them a full payment a week. I have 2 weeks to save up to kind of get me a maintenance reserve going again. And I can still afford to pay the finance company. And then in a few weeks, when freight slows down for Christmas, I'm okay. But that wasn't something they were willing to do. And then they became real unprofessional and ultimately cussed me out on the phone. And I just said, I can't work with people like this. So, they're not the victim. I don't want to make them the victim in this. I say that it was a decision I made. They initiated the decision, and then I ultimately agreed with their decision. And it was at great risk to me. There was a good possibility when I made that decision that it could have blew up any chance of me working with SRO Logistics. Keep in mind, when I made this decision, I didn't know the Corvette was going to go and I was going to get the motorcycle. So I knew when I made that decision, it might be the end of me working for SRO Logistics. And so I was very motivated to make a deal with them. But you've heard me say on this channel before, no deal is better than a bad deal. And I feel if I'd have gave them a payment and a half, plus tried to finance some more money for the repairs for the part I didn't have, I would have been setting myself up for failure 3 or 4 weeks later. So I hope I answered that. Let me get down here because we've got a super chat from channel member and good friend Robbie Ross. Cowboys Nations are ready to go panther hunting. I love this part of the schedule. Yeah, for those that don't know, the Cowboys are kind of in a downhill schedule right now. It's they're fixing to play some teams that are very favorable for them doing well. So it's a great time to be a Cowboys fan. Let me see. I skipped ahead to him, and now I'm not real sure where I'm at. Here I am. Christian says, my wife says your voice is soothing and she can listen to you go to sleep. Yeah, that's funny that you say that. Several people have said that they use my videos to put them to sleep. It's okay. You don't have to be alert when you watch my videos. I still get credit for the view if you just listen to me in the background while you sleep. So, great idea. I need to make some playlists where y'all can listen to my voice for like 8 or 10 hours. You can go to sleep to me. Go to sleep with Trucker Todd and wake up with Trucker Todd. But tell her thank you for watching. I'm glad she likes the voice. I'm not going to tell you. My mom used to say something about my voice. I'm not going to say what she said because the trolls will have fun with it. But sometime when I talk to you on the phone, I'll tell you what she used to say, Christian. Russell says company drivers have no reason to speak on us owner ops. They have no clue about it. Yeah, there's a point to be made for them. Several people told me, Todd, it's none of their business. It doesn't matter what they think. And I said, well, no, I make it their business because I come on here and I'm honest and I share part of my life. And that's the great thing about the country we live in. We can all make our own decisions and do what we think's best, and they're free to criticize me. I wish sometimes that they would keep the comments a little more censored. Making comments about my kids or racial statements about my grandkids is a little bit out of line. I would never do that to my worst critic, to my worst troll. I wouldn't comment negatively about their kids or the race of their kids or nothing like that. If you agree with me on a trucking opinion, what I think about speed limiters, what I think about maintenance, something like that, I get it. But when you start attacking 8-year-old kids or younger in some cases, or 16-year-old kids, I just think it crosses a line. And it says more about the person saying things than it does about me or my family. And when you make up stuff about where I live or what I do, it's just uncalled for. I did not move into a travel trailer because I lost my house. It was a conscious decision to move into one. Our plan was to move into one for a couple of years, save money, and buy a house. We got here, and as recently as last week, had a discussion about getting a house at some point. And we said, for now, we like what we're doing. We enjoy staying here. It's kind of fun, kind of adventurous. If we travel somewhere, it hooks to my pickup. We can take it with us. I don't have to check into a hotel and worry about who was in the room before me. I don't have to worry about forgetting stuff in the hotel, shampoo or toothbrushes or nothing like that. So it's kind of fun. It's a lot less expensive than a house. They take care of the yard, which is great because I'm gone so much. I don't even own a lawnmower anymore. And so, but I shouldn't have to explain those things. But since I have put out publicly these things, then I have to expect some backlash and criticism. And the other thing I do to kind of shield myself is I don't watch a lot of those videos. They can say what they want and have their own opinions, but a lot of times I don't know nothing about it unless somebody sends me a clip. And a lot of times I just laugh about it and move on. Those people who say those things to you will have bad karma. Well, maybe that came from Russell. What I would say though is I just continue to wish them well. It seems like that hurts them more than anything. When I come on here smiling and saying, hey, everything's going to be okay, I mean, it makes them fighting mad because they've wished and hoped that something bad would happen to me. And when they see something good happen, it makes me mad. It makes them mad. And like I say, if you're not fighting with your dispatcher and your truck ain't breaking down, the videos can get kind of monotonous. There was a long span where everything was going great. And I'm coming on here going, everything's great. How are y'all doing? And we're talking about y'all stuff. Now there's a little bit of a roller coaster ride, and every time there's a peak, it really upsets everybody, or not everybody, a few people, and that's fine too. But I don't see, I felt like the last 2 or 3 videos have been really positive because I'm really excited at where my life's headed and the opportunities that are coming up for me. I mean, I wish I could tell you about some of the stuff, but it's a little premature for that. SRJ says, I ask because I believe there are many people out there that are in that situation and feel there's no option. What kind of terms would one incur? So it really depends on the truck. Obviously, a Freightliner, like what I'm looking at, is on the cheaper side. So the terms on it are going to be a lot different than, say, $100,000 or $150,000 truck. I would just say, the situation I'm looking at, it's a guy that's getting out of trucking because of his health. And so the truck was offered to me. I'm going to be making payments. It's technically like a lease purchase. I won't own the truck or have the title in my name until it's paid off. But there's some flexibility on the terms. We're still working all that out. Obviously, the cheaper the payments, the longer it'll take to pay it off. The shorter the payments, the quicker you'll pay it off. And as soon as I've got the exact numbers, I'll share that with y'all as much as I can. The payments are going to be significantly less than what they were on the Kenworth. But this is what I'd say too. Having a YouTube channel definitely helps. I mean, there was companies talking amongst themselves, how can we get Trucker Todd a truck? Now, most of them wanted me to come work for them. Very few of them were saying, we'll give you a truck and let you stay with SRO. But the YouTube channel doesn't hurt. Driving 27 years and meeting as many people as I've met doesn't hurt. And just good old-fashioned relationship building over the year. Meeting people, shaking hands, having hamburgers with people, things like that. I've met a lot of people. And what I would say is people that are going in that situation, email me at todd@truckertodd.net, and I'll try to help. Everybody's situation's different. For example, there's some of you that are going under right now that you've got a few $1,000s in the bank, and I've got companies I know that probably loan you or sell you a truck. Some of you have lost everything, and for you, I might say, hey, be a company driver for 6 months and save up some money, or do a lease purchase with a bigger company, or, contact this guy and see if he's got a truck he can put you in or something like that. So everybody's situation's just a little bit different. Yeah, Russell's got it on the nail on the head. It says, depends where you get it from, SRJ. But yeah, there's always options. No Fear says, a woman is the hardest I've ever repoed from. Yeah, I'll tell you what's worse than a woman is a man in front of his woman, because they feel like you're taking their manhood. I've been in a few pretty good fist fights. I repoed a pickup in Amarillo, and the guy followed me back to the car lot, and we had a pretty good fight out there in front of the parking lot, and then he got arrested. But yeah, I had a guy shoot out a back window of a pickup that I repoed in Hereford off a ranch. Seemed like pickups were always got in the fight. I had a GMC pickup that I picked up from a trailer house, and I had spare keys for it. I hopped in it and was going to drive off, and the guy had unhooked the battery. And so we had a pretty good fight in the front yard, and then I hooked up the battery and left. But yeah, I was a lot younger and wilder back then. I could do stuff back then I probably can do now. SRJ says, Christian, I'm not aware of the differences. Maybe Christian will know what he's talking about. Russell's laughing at No Fear. Were you responsible for the bill at the Kenworth dealer? Ultimately, yes, I am responsible for that bill there, SRJ. However, they kicked me out of the truck, so I'm going to let them worry about it now. Russell says his fiance repoed his heart. Christian says, what makes me upset about the dang finance company is they got their money from you. They had a down payment and money for the truck and basically got it back with little miles put on it by you. I actually put quite a bit of miles on it. I had it about 6 months. So I put, 65, 70,000 miles on it probably in the time. Well, maybe not quite that much. But, the thing is, and we got to keep this in mind too, is like what the previous question was. If I don't pay for the truck, they're going to pay the bill anyway, because in Texas, they got to pay the bill to get the truck from the shop. So if I would have been thinking of it from their perspective, I'd have paid the bill a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and I would have put it in the notes somewhere. And because they got a better chance of getting the money if I'm in the truck than if they come after me for it afterwards. I mean, let's face it, if they get a lawyer, if they try to sue me, I'm going to get a lawyer. Might they get some money? Yeah, but it's going to be months and maybe years down the line. And it's not going to be the full value. And it's not going to be with all the interest and all of that. They would have made more money and come out of this deal better if from the beginning they'd have just said, here, let us help you out. This was a weird situation. And we want you out rolling, making money. But I got the feeling, and I've shared this in a couple other videos, Avery left there too. Avery saw some stuff that he didn't like when he was there, and he checked out. But I got the feeling that a lot of the office staff, this was probably the first trucking-related job that they had ever had. And things like repairs, things about parts issues, I don't think they had experienced a lot of that before. And so I hope that my situation inspires them to change some of their practices so that if somebody else has a month-long breakdown, that they're more willing to work with them than they were with me. We all make mistakes. We all make bad decisions. And hopefully this was just a mistake and a bad decision on their part. And they'll learn from it. And let's be honest, I made some mistakes here too. So all I can do at this point is learn from it and move on. Russell says, Christian, that finance company sounds like total a-holes. Well, yeah, if it wouldn't get me a cease and desist, I'd give you their names and their phone numbers, and y'all could call them and tell them what fine individuals they are. Christian says, of course they want it back. They got money down and you barely used it and they took payments from you. Yeah, but it's still not going to benefit them. I read an article earlier today. Truck prices are falling pretty drastically right now. And so they're probably only going to be able to sell that truck for a half or a third of what I owed on it. They're definitely going to take a haircut in that deal. Like I said, I think their best course of action would have been to work something out with me, even if it wasn't the deal they wanted. And so, but I mean, we all make decisions and we all live with the consequences. Let's see here. Todd, I can write a negative Google review for you. Yeah, I'm intending to do the same thing. The problem with Google reviews is they get to write a rebuttal, and then you don't get to write a rebuttal to that rebuttal. So basically, I go on there and I give my side of the story, and then they give a half-truth, and I can't debate it. So they'll come back and they go, oh, no, Trucker Todd, we offered you this, we offered you that, we said we'd do this, and you shot us the bird, and I can't dispute it or nothing. And then when somebody reads it, they think, oh, yeah, that's just a crazy truck driver that's not happy with anything. So, or in your case, they'd just say, we can't find a record of you ever buying a truck from us. Call us and we'll work it out with you. And then you call them and they tell you to go fly a kite. Yeah, about the finance company. I knew what you meant. What is that noise outside? Christian says, haha, go to sleep with Trucker Todd. Exactly. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. There's not a way I can put that in a sentence where it sounds good, but yes, um, man, that should be on a t-shirt. 4 out of 5 women sleep better with Trucker Todd. That needs to be on a t-shirt. No Fear says people are going to talk no matter what you do, screw them. Yeah, I think it's funny. Uh, these guys should be writing novels because they have great imaginations. Like, did you know the reason I got fired from Swift was for racial comments? Did you know that both of my wives, even my current one, have said that I abused them? I hadn't heard that. I've talked to both of them this week. Did you know that, let's see, what else have they said? There's all kinds of stuff. And it's funny. It's funny. Did you know that I got evicted from my house and that's why I live in a camper? I can't make this stuff up, but they can. They should be writing novels instead of picking on me. Russell says, no fear. That's what I'm saying. All that matters is that you're doing well and taking care of your family. That's why I do this for my fiance and me, and eventually we will have kids. Yeah, exactly. That's why, and I said this, I think it was in the last video. When you get to be 50 years old, and in December, I'll be 51. It's hard to believe in a few weeks I'll be 51. But hopefully by the time you get to this stage in your life, you know who you are. And you're not worried about what people think or the opinions necessarily. Now, some of you will give me your opinions and I'll think about it. And sometimes you'll influence me. Sometimes I'll influence you. But if somebody says I'm stupid, it doesn't ruin my day. I'll laugh at it. And if somebody says I'm making a bad decision, I say, well, maybe we'll find out. But some of them get so absorbed and so angry. And all that really matters at the end of the day is that you know who you are. You've got a good relationship with your family and things like that. By the way, did I set this up? Hang on. I don't know. I don't know if there's closed captions on this video or not. I thought I set all that up, but I don't know if it is. StreamYard's beta testing captions. Oh, I think I missed somebody. Yeah, I did. Give me just a second, Sterling, and I'll get to you. I just now saw it. Sterling Wheel with the super chat. Thank you, sir. With the gorilla. I like it, man. Thank you. All right, let me get up here. Let's see here. Skyline says, I'm trying to buy a good working truck with no more than 550K, but I only have 50,000, but I don't want a monthly payment or a weekly payment. Yeah. So here's what I would say about that. If you've got 50K, look on like Facebook Marketplace in your area, places like that. Take you a mechanic with you, have him look the truck over as best as you can. I would say if you have 50K, only spend about 30 or 35 of it. And that way you've got a little bit of reserve if you do find something wrong with it in the first few trips. But I think you're getting, especially the way truck prices are falling right now, I think you're getting in the area where you could find something. Watch Cash is King when he does those truck shows where he shows trucks in the truck paper. He usually shows where they're at and things like that. And he picks out some really good ones. But just look the trucks over carefully. A lot of people are getting rid of those trucks because they got issues. But man, I'd be tempted in your situation, since you like where you're working, to do one of their lease purchase trucks. I looked at their program, and I'd put the money down. You got enough nest egg that if it goes south, you could probably buy it out or almost buy it out at that point. So that's what I would look at in your situation. Let's see. No Fear says, very true, Russell. No Fear says he has 4 kids. That some of it depends on the age. If they're all under 8, that can be tough. But if they're teenagers and stuff, that's a doable deal. It's hard to do a lease purchase with any company when you've got 4 kids and a $1,200 or $1,500 a week truck payment. It's a lot easier if you've got a paid off truck. And in a situation like No Fears with 4 kids, I might be tempted to be a company driver for the insurance and the benefits and stuff until they're up and out of the house. Russell says, no fear. Yeah, most people try to get attention by acting out against other people. And hell yeah, no fear. We aren't having any yet. Just got our new home and now build 6 months emergency fund. Yeah, it sounds like y'all are doing it the right way, Russell, building a good foundation so that you'll be ready. The only advice I'd give you is don't wait for everything to be perfect, because it'll never be perfect, but just get it to where it's pretty good, pretty stable, and then take your shot. No Fear and just got engaged. Congratulations on the engagement, Russell. Russell says, we are only 26. Man, I thought you was older than that. Russell and I have talked a few times. He's a really smart guy, and I thought he was older than 26. He's got a lot of wisdom in that head of his. No Fear says, that's good, Russell. No Fear says he's 39 and she's 36. That probably works out real well. Channel member Robbie Ross says, I don't stress about things no matter what the situation is. Everything always works itself out in the end. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes when you're in the middle of the storm, it's hard to see that. But like I said, right now, I'm feeling pretty positive about everything. Russell says, Robbie Ross, very true. No Fear agrees with Robbie. CJ Hudson with a gorilla. I'd never saw that emoji on there before. That's pretty cool. No Fear says a woman bit his ass when he was repoing a vehicle. I never had problems with women. I say that I had one lady. I was going to repo a Ford Escape, and she didn't want to give me the keys, and it ended up being a mess. But yeah, that was the only woman that ever really gave me a hard time. Russell says, no fear when trucks flip you off for no reason. I learned to just laugh it off. Yeah, I hesitate to say this, but I hadn't been flipped off in over a month. I got to get back out on the road. I'm behind my quota on flip offs. Another gorilla from Cheap Freight Hauler and from Butch. Thank y'all for the gorillas. I'm not sure what they mean, but they're cool either way. Russell says, no fear, ain't nothing wrong with that. No Fear says, me too, Russell. And we're getting a lot of them now. Paul Harris with the gorilla. Shannon Thomas with a whole flock of gorillas. What do they call a group of gorillas? Does anybody know? Like for geese, it's a gaggle, I think. What is a group of gorillas? Maybe somebody can giggle that or Google that. Paula's not here now. Dud Hemsworth has a gorilla and a pointy sign. WCF Invader has 4 gorillas. Thank you, sir. Shannon Thomas says, good evening, everyone. We're going to have to rename this show the Gorilla Show. JD throwing a gorilla in there. Thank you, sir. Corey Ray. with the most gorillas so far, I think. You guys are funny. Shannon Thomas with a whole emoji herd here. Thank you for the emojis. And Christian says, how does the finance company get a car that's hidden? I've always wondered about that. So I'll tell you the secrets. Most cars that are financed have a tracker on them. If you buy even a new vehicle like a GM or something, General Motors, GMAC can locate the car that way, unless you have it like in a metal building or something. The other way they find a lot of vehicles is snitches. And you would be surprised how many of your family members will snitch you out, how many of your coworkers will snitch you out. So they'll go to your job where you worked last, and they'll say, hey, I'm looking for Christian. And they'll make up an excuse. They won't say, hey, we're here to repo his car. Say, hey, I went to high school with him, and I heard he worked here, and I was just going to see if I could buy him a hamburger for lunch or something. And they'll say, oh, Christian quit 3 weeks ago. Dang, I hate that I missed him. Where's he working now? And they'll say, I'm not sure, but he stays in those apartments over there. And then you go stake out the apartments and wait for the car to come back. Or they'll say, oh, well, he's moved in with this girl over there on 3rd Street. And so you go over there to 3rd Street and kind of drive around till you find the car. But generally, somebody will snitch on you if they don't have a tracker on the vehicle. And trackers are getting cheaper now. So more and more car lots are using trackers. There's a lot of things like that are available. They'll call your references that you put on your application. It won't take them long to find a sister that's mad at you or something that'll snitch you out. Steering wheel with gorilla. Thank you, sir. Russell says, Christian Harlow, they have a GPS on the engine. A lot of them actually, like my pickup, when I paid it off, it was under the steering column, and it actually plugged into the back of the OBD2 connector. And when I paid the vehicle off, they just asked me, do you mind if we remove it? I said, no, go for it. My Corvette, when it was financed, it had one that was behind the radio. It's usually a black box that's about half the size of a credit card. And it'll usually have like a little flashing light on it. We had one car at one of the car lots I worked at. The lady was a real flaky individual, and we put 2 on it because she kept finding one of them and removing it. So we hit a second one on there. And then when she didn't pay and remove the one, she didn't think we could track the car anymore. And we knew right where it was and went and got it. JD Jeff with the grill. Thank you, sir. And my good friend Shannon Thomas, y'all go check out her channel if you hadn't done it. Says, hit the like button. Yes, please do. That helps out a lot. Russell Freight Services says, Ian T. Stifler with the 4 gorillas. Thank you for being here, sir. No Fear says, you tried with them and all is nothing they can do. Well, we'll see. I don't live my life in fear. That's one thing that people learn about me is I don't bluff. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. I'm also a sucker for an apology. So if a guy apologizes to me or a gal or whatever, I'll generally accept their apology. Even the guy that said the really mean things about my kids this week and my grandkids, if he emailed me with an apology, I'd be real tempted to forgive him. Yeah, that's, if they want to sue me, whatever they want to do, my credit's already shot. I've already got another truck. I'm already with a great company. They can take me to court and get a judgment against me. I hadn't got a tax refund in like 20 years, so I'm not expecting a tax refund anytime soon. And that'd be the way they'd collect the judgments, through a tax refund. So honestly, I think it's more trouble than it'd be worth for them. But I had to do what I had to do, and they got to do what they got to do. Hey, look who's here. Cash is here. Cassius King is here. I think we just found a name. YouTube says that that you're supposed to nickname your viewers, that helps with the retention and things like that. How do y'all feel about me referring to the audience as the Gorilla Gang? I think it's kind of cool. Do y'all want to be the Gorilla Gang? I could rename the channel membership the Gorilla Gang. There's a lot I could do with that if y'all like it. Shannon Thomas getting a kick out of the Gorilla Gang. Russell saying hello to the celebrity that is Cash is King. We were just talking about you, Cash is King. I was telling people, they said, what do you do if your credit's shot and you're needing a truck or you just got a little bit of money? And I told them to check out your channel when you're showing the used trucks around the country, that you're like a bloodhound for finding good deals on trucks. I honestly don't know how you do it. Yeah. Well, I do. You devote a lot of time to it. Good stuff, though. Steering wheel covering his eyes. Yes, sir. Butch is joining the Gorilla Gang. I know exactly who it is. It is Cordell. Yes and no. The finance company is actually called River Valley Capital, and they are under the umbrella of Cordell. They're in the same building, but they claim to be a separate company. You know how all this tax stuff works. But yeah, it's actually River Valley Capital is the finance company. And I know there's going to be some fact check to take place, and some of you guys are going to call them, and I'm going to save you the phone call. They're going to tell you I'm lying about everything and that they were completely innocent, that they tried to work with me, and that I was just totally unreasonable. Mention the finance company, Todd. Let's make them Facebook famous. Sure, why not? I'm kind of feeling it tonight. So the name of the company is River Valley Capital, and the two ladies I dealt with there were Emily and Jenny. Russell says Cordell Trucks out of Dubuque, Iowa. That's where I bought the truck, but the finance company's River Valley Capital. Again, in the same building. I dealt with Jenny and Emily. 601 Dirty Bird. His head is exploding, it looks like. .601 Dirty Bird taking a shower. Corey Ray says, Todd, people never want to see anyone do better than their miserable minds. That's them. Easier to kick dirt than grow roses. That's probably true. And I've had, there's people keep calling me and say, Todd, why does your channel do so well? And I've got some theories why that is, but I think one of the main reasons that this channel does well is we really try to help people on here. And I say we because you guys, the Gorilla Gang, you guys in the comments, y'all offer up a lot of advice too. People will come in here and ask questions. Y'all throw up advice. I throw up advice. We're generally respectful. We generally bounce off each other's ideas. And I think it's a good, safe space for people to come in here and ask questions. And so I think that's why this channel does well. I think my efforts to be honest, sometimes to my detriment, I think that's another reason it does well. And evidently, my voice helps people go to sleep. So I'm a good replacement for NyQuil or other sleep aids, as I put a lot of women to sleep every night. Christian says, are there any companies out there that allow small kids to ride with you and another adult? I don't know about currently because insurances have changed, but Prime Inc. used to let you take as many people in the truck as you could seat belt in. And they had seat belts on the bed. Now, this is back in the early 2000s. But you could put 4, sometimes 5 people in a truck if you could demonstrate to them that you could safely seat belt them in the back. I don't know if they still allow that, but at one time they did. And that's not with me being an empty nester now, that's just not a question I normally ask because it's just me and my wife. And she doesn't ride with me a lot anymore. She used to ride with me full time, but now that she's working, she doesn't get to go with me very often. I've never asked Scott what his deal is on it, but I'm pretty sure it would come down to insurance, and I'd probably have to demonstrate that I could seatbelt them in. And you guys know a lot of the old Kenworths, that bottom bunk folded into a bench seat, so you could put 3 people back there. There was 3 seat belts, and so you could have 2 in the front and 3 in the back. So there is a legal way to do it, but it comes down to more your insurance and what they'll allow, and your carrier and what they'll allow. No Fear says, I'm still looking for myself. Well, there you go. Let's see. Channel member midlife, West Coast time, got me again. That's all right. We've had a lot of people putting gorilla emojis in the comments, and I think we're going to start referring to all the viewers as the Gorilla Gang. I like it. And, I'll get on there and change the channel membership to call them the Gorilla Gang. Wait, started 4 hours ago. I must really be slipping. Well, no, that timer's wrong. That's when I put the video up. I started early to make sure the notifications go out, but I started at 5 p.m. Central. So we've been going about an hour and 47 minutes. No Fear says, midlife, it does me too. And Corey Ray, yeah, I knew what you meant about growing roses. We're good. Gary Cook says, in my 30s, I tried to commit suicide because at the time I felt that I had nothing to live for. I'm sure glad that I survived it. Yeah, I recently talked to a guy that was going through some tough times, and he said he had considered suicide. And I told him, I said, when you're going through a dark time, you think that the rest of your life is going to be like it is right now. And I said, 6 months from now, you're going to look back on your life and you're going to be going, man, I'm so glad I didn't kill myself. Things are so much better now. But when you lose that love or you lose that job or whatever it is that's got you down, you think, oh man, I can't see a light at the end of the tunnel. My life's over. It's never going to be good again. And then things turn around. I mean, this week, I'll give you an example. At 2 o'clock, and I don't remember the day. I may have been last week since this is Tuesday. At 2 o'clock, I called John Toohey, and I said, man, John, it's bad. Here's the deal. And I spilled out this big, long story about how things were a mess, and there was no way I was going to get through it. 30 minutes later, I called him back. Oh, John, everything's great again. You won't believe what just happened. Now, what would have happened if at 2 o'clock I would have just gave up and pulled the trigger or took the pills or whatever? But just hanging in there 30 more minutes, things got better. And that's what I want to tell you guys tonight. Some of you are going through some crap right now. Some of you think I've been through some crap right now, and I have. But the rest of your life is not going to be like it is right now. This is just a valley you're going through, and you're almost out of it. If you can just hang on a little longer, it will get better. And then at some point, you're going to be able to help others. You're going to say, yeah, I was where you're at right now, and I just hung on a little longer, and things got better. So don't give up. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me get down here. We've got some breaking news we got to get to. Hey, channel member, brand new channel member, Christian Harlow just became a channel member. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Let's get back up here to the rest of the Gorilla Gang. Man, I got a lot of comments to catch up on. All right, here we go. Gary Cook says, every once in a while I do get depressed, and I'm trying to deal with it. I covered this in a video. I guess it's been a little over a year ago now. I think this is a problem in trucking that needs to be addressed, is there's a lot of depression in trucking. I think there's a lot of reasons for it. Some of it is you're out here on the road, stuff's happening at home that's out of your controls. It's a lonely job, things like that. But if you admit you're depressed or you get diagnosed with depression, you can lose your CDL. There should be a way you can get help without losing your CDL. There's a lot of you, myself included sometimes, that you just need someone to talk to. You don't need a solution. You just need somebody to vent to. And some of you will call me sometimes and you'll gripe for 15 minutes and then you're fine. You don't need me to give you advice or tell you what to do. You just need me to listen. And, a truck driver that needs help shouldn't be in fear of losing their CDL. And I've got a friend that just got out of trucking and went back into politics. And I may kind of talk to him about that and see if he can present it to some of the politicians he's around, because there's a lot of you that are great drivers that are fine out here. You just need somebody to talk to or somebody to vent to sometimes. Christian says, I'm going to test out the go to sleep with Trucker Todd tonight. Good joke in there somewhere. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. At night I listen to spa music on Pandora to help me sleep. But I suggest each of you pick the longest Trucker Todd video you can find and let that put you to sleep. You'll help me. It'll help my analytics, and hopefully it'll help you sleep. Russell says, Harry, cool. We glad you're here with us. Yes, sir. I'm glad you're all here. He meant Gary. Yes, sir. I took 10K, put 5 down and caught 5, bought a 99 KW with recent end frame on a cat and been good for 3 years now. Yeah, that's the way to do it. You don't want to be buying a truck and counting change in your truck, just barely having enough, and then begging the dealership or the individual to put diesel in it so you can make it home. Save a few thousand for a surprise repair. If you get home and it needs batteries, and that's the other thing. When I went and emptied out that Kenworth, the batteries were completely dead. Now, it's possible that they disconnected them, but it's more than likely that it sat there so long they went dead. And so that would have been great if I got that deal set up with the finance company and I got the financing set up for the repair, and then I had to buy $1,200 worth of batteries to even use the truck. So I felt like no deal was better than a bad deal. Wow, that's a deal, Corey. He said he got that 99 KW for 28K. That's not bad. Cheap Freight Hauler says, I'm glad you're here, Gary. I am too. Gary's a regular. He shows up every video, and he always puts good comments. We like Gary. Russell also says he's glad you're here. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't make a bad decision that you couldn't undo. No Fear says, nope, all young. Man, we were talking about, for those that don't know, we was talking about No Fear's kids. He said he had 4 kids. And I said, it's easier if some of them are teenagers. And he said, nope, they're all young. Christian says, where is Skyline working? I can answer that one. Skyline works for Creek Carriers. He does videos too, Christian. If you've never seen his videos, check out Skyline. He talks about his experiences over there at Crete. Russell says, thanks, Todd. No problem. Midlife channel member says, you could take a GoPro truck shopping, maybe a GoPro Max 360 for an interior view, a GoPro Sessions for the hat cam view, and GoPro Hero 7 for the dashboard test drive camera review. We were talking about you tonight before you got here, Midlife. I'm going to use that one you sent me with the head mount and maybe take the motorcycle out and kind of ride around Lubbock a little bit. Or I may can mount it on the bike somewhere where you can kind of get a road view of everything. I think it'd be a cool video. Ride it around the loop and let y'all see what idiot drivers we got here. Or maybe do a complete loop around Lubbock on Loop 289. That's a pretty good drive. That's probably a 30 or 40-minute video. It'd be kind of interesting. Keith wants to know, Corey Ray, do you ever find yourself wishing for newer comforts and amenities in that older truck? Have you made any modifications? All right, Corey, we got a question for you. Skyline says, I know you're busy, but if you have some spare time, give me a call. Yeah, they have some trucks at Crete, 72K with 400K, 4,000 down, 30 months purchase program. They don't have lease. Yeah, I don't know. Out of habit, I say lease. I knew it was a purchase. I did talk to them when I thought there wasn't going to be a possibility for Scott. And they said I had to wait till April because of that accident. So Crete wasn't an option for me. But all in all, their program looked pretty good. Skyline, I'll try to call you as soon as I go off the air tonight. But if you want to call me, it's probably better. Just call me when the show's over. Give me about 10 minutes and then call me, and I'll try to get you in tonight. I'm sorry that it's just been chaos lately. What I've been doing lately, and this is the truth, from the time I wake up till the time I go to bed, I'm either shooting videos or doing these lives or working on getting back to work, dealing with truck-related things or insurance-related things. So it's been chaotic. A lot of times you'll call me, you'll get a voicemail, and it's a good idea to leave a voicemail. I know Skyline left one, and I mean to call you back, and I just forget. But I'll try to call you after the show, but it might be better if you call me, depending on how long we go tonight. Shannon Thomas says a lot of monkey love in this room tonight. Absolutely. We love wildlife in here. Incidentally, my voice puts gorillas to sleep too, in case you were wondering. Channel member Midlife says a troop of gorillas. Yeah, I'm going to start calling this the Gorilla Gang. Nobody's objected yet, and I think it sounds cool. CJ Hudson, we followed Cash is King over here. The gorilla was his idea. Oh, that's hilarious. I wish he would have suggested it weeks ago. About a month ago, I said, hey, help me come up with a name for the group. But it's kind of catchy. We have Trucker Todd, which is 2 T's, and we have Gorilla Gang with 2 G's. I like it. Russell has the most gorillas of all now. My uncle said that if I'll remind him, he'll flip me off next time he sees me. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's I just keeping that positive attitude. I just say, oh, they're telling me I'm number one, or they're saying it's only up from here, or something like that. Skyline says, thanks, Corey Ray. Oh, Gary takes it the other direction. Now we have the Skunk Squad. So how about it, guys? Would y'all rather be the Skunk Squad or the Gorilla Gang? Channel member Midlife says, in today's world, the repo men just drive through Walmart parking lots, reading license plates, looking for vehicles on hit list. Yeah, there's probably a lot of truth to that. I repoed a few vehicles in grocery store parking lots. Ideally, you like to do it when they're at work or at night when they're asleep, because you're trying to avoid confrontation. Because I don't care how big and bad and tough you think you are, there's always somebody a little tougher. And in Texas, a lot of people are packing heat, so you may show up for a fist fight and get a gun battle. Gary Cook with the Gorilla Gang. Skyline says Christian Harlow at Crete Care. Yeah, he's at Crete. And like I say, if y'all haven't checked out Alex, who is Skyline, go check out his YouTube channel. He talks quite a bit about Crete carriers, and he does cool like driving videos and stuff. And he's a good dude. We want to support the good dudes out here. we got plenty of scumbags on YouTube. And when there's a good guy that's just out here trying to do the right thing, we want to support him. We got a lot of them in here. Shannon Thomas is another one. Go check her out. Channel member Robbie Ross says, when I finance challenge credit customers, the banks will have you install a tracker. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's where I preferred to work. I'll tell you why. People always said, why do you like doing buy here, pay here? For one, when I sold new cars, the people would nitpick the cars to death, and it would drive me crazy. Buy here, pay here. They were grateful you could help them. I had customers that bring me gifts, bake me cakes, that would just come up to drink coffee with me in the morning. They'd call me just randomly. Hey, Todd, I just want to check on you, see how you're doing. They'd bring their neighbors down. Hey, Todd, I told them about the great deal you got me on this car. Can you help my neighbor get a car? They were so grateful. And they didn't nitpick the cars half as bad. And I actually felt like I was helping people. People go, oh, when you do buy here, pay here, you're ripping people off. I really didn't feel that way. They knew they were paying extra because they were a higher risk because of their credit. And they just wanted me to be honest with them about the cars, about the financing. And if they had a problem, they wanted me to be there for them. I've told the story about the guy that asked for the best car on the lot. I sold it to him. The engine blew that night. And we put a brand new engine in his car. And I don't mean a rebuilt wrecking yard engine, a brand spanking new engine. So instead of being mad about his car broke down, he was excited because he got an even better car than he thought he was going to get. And so I really, also the hours were better. When you sold new cars, you was there till 9 or 10 o'clock a lot of nights. When I sold buy here, pay here, I was out of there by 5 or 6 o'clock every day. It was more like banker hours. Half a day on Saturday. Sometimes I didn't work at all on Saturdays. I'd be on call on Saturdays. If I had some appointments, I'd come in. Otherwise, I'd take the day off. Gary Cook says a lot of vehicles are coming equipped with XM radio, and sometimes the finance company can find your vehicle off of that. Yeah, and like I mentioned about GM vehicles, they have OnStar is what it used to be called. I don't know what they call it now. A lot of cars have something similar to that. So it's getting easier and easier for them to find the vehicles. Alaska Hall says, I know a guy that hasn't paid for his 2022 Volvo for like 4 months, and he disabled the GPS. Most of them have a deal where it'll send them a flare if you disconnect it, even if you disconnect the battery, like you're changing the battery. And after a day or two, they'll start looking for the car. If you want to get your finance company's attention, either cancel your insurance or disconnect your GPS, and they'll find you real quick. Oh boy, Shannon. Christian says, don't tell my wife, but Shannon Thomas is hot. Shannon, how do you feel about him saying that you got beauty and brains? Shannon Thomas says, congratulations, Todd. Everything will work out. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Shannon has been real supportive. At times I've been rude to her and probably not the best friend, but she's always kind of been loyal to me. If there's somebody in this room that I probably owe an apology to, it's Shannon Thomas. She's a good person, and she really deserves y'all's support. If you don't mind going over and checking out her channel. Channel member Midlife Trucker says, Todd, you're what they call judgment proof. I'm not sure why anyone would bother to see you. Yeah, exactly. That's what I say about identity theft. Why would anybody steal my identity? I don't want to be me most days. Gregory Spears says, what's going on, Todd? Oh, man, we're just hanging out, having a good time. Midlife Trucker channel member says the Gorilla Troop. I like that, but I think I like Gorilla Gang better just because of the G's. Gorilla Gang. Keith says if we're going to be the Gorilla Gang, you have to make some merch. We need coffee cups, T-shirts, and stickers and whatnot. I agree, and we're working on it. We are working on it. We got to get on to that because I missed that. Already got that one. Christian became a channel member. Look who else became a channel member. Keith Kroll became a channel member. Thank you so much, sir. Glad to have you a part of the elite Gorilla Gang. How do you like that? The elite Gorilla Gang. Let's see. Get back up here. I think I skipped some comments. And Cassius King came up with the Gorilla Gang thing. Yeah, I did drive for Swift actually twice in my career. First time I drove for them for 4.5 years. Second time I drove for them for about 11 months, 10 or 11 months. That came from an Angry Conservative podcast. Nothing wrong with them. I saved up enough money to buy my own truck and went back on the spot market. But in the right circumstances, I'd consider going back there, but I just got too good of a deal now to leave and go anywhere else. As to if I recommend them or not, it's been over 6 months since I worked there. There's been a lot of changes in freight, a lot of changes in the market. And so at this point, I'm not recommending for or against them. I would say try to find some drivers that currently work there as owner-operators and talk to them. Keep in mind that a lot of it just depends on how good a truck you get and how good a dispatcher you get. But it is possible to make money there. Most weeks I averaged either 2,500 or a little north of 2,500. And I don't know what's possible there now. From what I hear, 1,800 to 2,000 is what a lot of guys are making over there now. But again, I hadn't been there in several months. I would encourage you to do your research if you decide to go to Swift. Tim Back says, I'm not a gorilla, I'm a driver. Trucker Todd's drivers. All right. Tim refuses to be a gorilla. Corey says, I got me some good seats and a really good mattress. Not really missing the auto start stuff and DEF-free gens. Yeah, that's the great thing about if you have an older truck. There's a pretty good aftermarket for stuff. So like he did, you can change out the seats and get them more comfortable. You can put your modern flat screen TVs in there and amenities like that. Heck, I know a guy that took out his whole bottom bunk and made an office complete with a desk and everything. And then he sleeps on the top bunk. He's got filing cabinets and everything in there. So there is some customization that can take place. Obviously, some trucks are easier to do that in than others. Christian says, Trucker Todd's Gorilla Gang. There you go. No Fear says, let's make a Trucker Todd doll and send it to the haters. Oh, gosh. Can you imagine what they'd do to that doll? That poor doll. You may not want to put a tracker on that doll. It might boldly go where no doll has gone before. Oh, there you go. Midlife Trucker channel member says Prime has a 3 heartbeat rule now. So does that count like you, your wife, and a dog, or does the pet not count as part of the heartbeat? Oh, okay. He answered it in the very next comment. So it really is 3 heartbeats. So in theory, if you didn't have a pet, you could have 2 adults and 1 kid. Skyline says Creed allows him to bring his wife and daughter. Sounds like they got a 3 heartbeat rule too. Or Todd's Silverbacks. I don't want, as I get more and more gray hair, I don't want anything with silver in the title. T. Curry, man, we've been all over the place, as you might imagine, in 2 hours and 10 minutes. The first 11 minutes, I threw out all the news that I needed to get to. The rest of the show, we just been having a good time and kind of talking about whatever pops up. If you get a chance to go back and watch the replay tonight while you're driving or tomorrow, please check it out. It's kind of funny and fun. Tonight's kind of a lighthearted episode. My situation's turning around and getting better. And so my spirits are lifted and we're just having a good time in here tonight. Keith says, so are 4 or 5 year old trucks for around 50 to 60K not retired fleet trucks? That's where my mind has been set because I assumed they were just replaced with newer models. It really depends on a lot of things. It depends on the fleet. It depends how well they took care of the truck. Occasionally you'll run across one that was an owner operator that their health got bad. They had to turn it in, something like that. A lot of the trucks right now are fleets that were downsizing their assets because of the economy. So I know, for example, Dart right now is selling off a ton of their 2019 KWs, trying to reduce they're trying to become what they call asset light. So they did have some mechanical problems with those trucks. I probably wouldn't buy one, but if you're looking for a good cheap truck, there's probably going to be several 2019 Kenworths hit the market here pretty soon. Let's see. Christian says, I'm a channel member. Yeah, I'm excited for you. You are now part of the elite Gorilla Gang, and you're going to love it. There's a new video that came out tonight that you can take a crack at that everybody else won't see till Thursday morning. When I get the truck, you'll see that a couple of days before everybody else. If there's some breaking news in my life that I think y'all might be interested in, I'll throw it out there first. So I'm glad you're a channel member, man. I'm excited for you. He says, woohoo. Yeah, we're all celebrating. And Christian says, Trucker Todd's chicken coop. That makes me sound like a DOT officer. Skyline says, Christian, I work at Creek Care, and they allow you to bring 2 people. So, yep, the 3 heartbeat rule. Back to Skyline for a second. What about if you're buying the truck? Is the same 3 heartbeat rule apply, or is it different when you're buying the truck? Christian channel member, new channel member, latest channel member says, I applied at Skyline. I may see what they have. At Skyline, can I use your name? Email me. Hey, Alex, email Christian. I'm going to leave it up there a minute so you can get his email. Yeah, you two definitely need to know each other, Christian, because he'd be a great resource for you to get advice and stuff like that. So if Skyline doesn't get in touch with you, email me or text me after the show, and I'll text Skyline your information or give it to him when I talk to him on the phone, so that y'all can get in touch. But yeah, I think knowing both of you's personalities and stuff, I think y'all would work well together. Alaska Hall says, Corey Ray, that's a great deal. And of course, he's talking about, let me get up here. Oh, he's talking about his seat and his mattress and everything. I thought I read these. I'll bring them up again. Yes, I'm going to skip back down. I'm not sure what my comments did. It's given them to me twice. Let's see here. Christian says, Skyline, if you give him your driver name and everything, he'll try to get you the bonus. Corey says he bought right before COVID skyrocketed everything. Yeah, so you probably had some equity in that truck there for a while where you could have sold it for a big profit. Had a 300K on a Cat 3406 in frame. That's a great engine. Always a little bit more expensive to work on, but a great engine. Alaska said that's exactly what I did. I got it in 2020. Mine's a 2008 with the Cummins. I love W9s. Yeah, I do too. Christian channel member says, if anyone's interested, my name on TikTok is Big Rig Down South and Harlow Party of 7. I have trucking content on both. All right, I'm going to leave that up for a second so everybody can see that. Y'all go check out Christian. I think several people, Christian, have said they're interested in your drive-away content. So Maybe you'll get some views on your drive-away content. Gary Cook says, did you have to take off all of SRO's logos off the truck? So ideally, you're supposed to. The finance company will be ending up doing that. I wasn't afforded the time or ability to do that. I'd need my heat gun, and there's no electrical outlets around there. But yeah, those decals will be coming off pretty quick, I'm sure. WCF Invader. Darn you, CJ. We wanted him to figure it out on his own. Let me see if I can find CJ's comment. Oh, yeah, I would have never guessed that Cash is King was behind it if y'all hadn't told me. He's sneaky, but usually when he does stuff, it's really funny. That's my favorite reason to watch Cash is King is I like his sense of humor. All right, I'm not sure what happens. My deal keeps repeating the same comments. Let me see if I can get down here where we were. Russell says, good night, everyone. In bed. All right, Russell, have a good night. If you get a chance, try to catch the replay tomorrow, my friend. Gary Cook says, skunk, skunk, skunk. I was trying to be funny. Oh, it was hilarious. I wasn't upset. I thought it was funny. That's why I came up with Skunk Squad or Gorilla Gang. Keith Crowell, channel member, says Gorilla Gang has more rhythm. I think it kind of has a ring to it. Trucker Todd and the Gorilla Gang. Sounds like a grunge band. Michael says, need you give me honest opinion about road legends? I got a friend that works over there, and he said he's making $1,700 to $1,900 a week. He said he's not getting rich, but he's fairly content over there. I've never really researched him deeply, but he's a guy that I've known since the Roadrunner days, and he likes it over there. He's like the rest of us. He'd like to be making a little more money right now, but he said he's consistently making $1,600 to $1,900 a week. Skyline says we need some T-shirts with the Gorilla logo and a Trucker Todd on it. I will buy one. All right, I'll get to work on it. We've got a bunch of that stuff in the works. My good friend John Toohey and I designed a logo. We're going to put that on some shirts. And now that y'all have created the Gorilla Gang, we'll get that stuff out pretty quick. T. Curry says, what does Ford have tracking their cars? So it's not Ford that does it per se, and they may on the new ones, but it's usually the finance company or the dealership, especially if you've got lower credit, they'll put tracking things on the vehicles. A lot of the newer vehicles have crash detection, and the same system they use for crash detection, they can use to locate a vehicle if they're trying to repo it. Channel member Robbie Ross says that's a good looking scooter. Is it orange or brown? So it's kind of it's a hard color to describe. I'm sure we'll have more videos of it. It's kind of a burnt orange color. It's a little lighter color than Hirschbach, but it's a normal color that I would hate on a car, but it looks really good on that bike because it's that color and black. And then my helmets are black, or one of them is. One of them's kind of a camouflage looking helmet. It's kind of hard to describe. Maybe since the weather's going to be better tomorrow, maybe I'll get out there and shoot another video of it, and like a short or something, and put it up for the channel members to see. Keith Crowell says, sweet dreams listening to Trucker Todd as you fall asleep, Russell. Yeah, y'all, I appreciate it. Fall asleep with the soothing sounds of Trucker Todd. Don says, good evening. It looks like I'll be on the replay gang. Yeah, you missed a lot, Don. You're now also a part of the Gorilla Gang or the Skunk Squad, whatever you prefer. And it's kind of dangerous to watch my videos while you're driving, as we found out that my videos might put you to sleep. But the vast majority of the people that watch my videos watch them on the replay anyway, and they may watch them while they sleep. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, if you get a chance to watch the replay, all the late breaking news I covered in the first 11 minutes. So you can get through that, kind of know what's going on, and then hang around as long as you can. And it gets kind of funny, and we cover a lot of different topics. And man, I've got a good group in here. This Gorilla Gang is something else. One of the biggest blessings for sure. You guys are awesome, and gals, everybody. I remember that, Gary Cook. He says all the Hirschbach trucks used to be gray. Yeah, I'm talking about that kind of burnt orange. It's a lighter color than that. It's really neat. My son thought it was a wrap, but I believe it's a factory color. So I'm going to have to do some research on that. Don says he's just waking up, going to work. Well, if you get you an energy drink, you may be able to stay awake for the replay. Somebody said my voice is really soothing. It puts everybody to sleep. Gary Cook says, Trucker Todd and our gang. Yeah, it's hard to beat Gorilla Gang, though. Cash was on it when he came up with that. Oh, boy. John Tui, channel member, says, already working on the Gorilla idea. Yeah, I got some ideas, too. We are like, when John Tui and I put our creative heads together, one of two things happens. Either we come up with a really good idea, or we start making each other laugh and don't get anything done. If we can keep our heads straight and not bust out laughing, we come up with some really cool stuff. But if one of us says something funny, it's all over and we'll have to try again another day. So, yeah, I'm sure me and John will be talking tomorrow, and we're going to get to work on this. I know who to call to get the shirts done and stuff like that. I got to get an idea of what sizes everybody wants and things like that. I'm guessing 2X and 3X would be most of you. Channel member John Tui says he's got a plan. Keith Kroll says, Crowell. I need to say that right. I think it's Crowell. Gorilla wearing trucker caps. There you go. There you go. That might be an idea, like a gorilla, a big muscular gorilla wearing a Trucker Todd hat. It says Trucker Todd under it or something like that. Maybe on the front or the back of the shirt. Maybe a big logo on the back and a small one up on the chest or something. I don't know. Me and John Tui will get to work on that. He's got artistic skill, and so we'll get to work on that. You guys had some great ideas tonight. Yeah, see, I was worried. Keith Crowell says drinking coffee from a Gorilla Gang coffee mug. See, that guy, that friend of mine that works at Road Legends, he always said he wanted a Trucker Todd coffee mug that had my picture on it. And I kept telling him, nobody wants to look at my picture when they first wake up in the morning. But I'm thinking a Gorilla Gang coffee mug. You guys might be into that. So, yeah, I'm going to get to work on that promptly. It'd be great if I could have some stuff out like that in time for Christmas. If you go with the Gorilla Gang, you will have to get a gorilla hat and shirt. This is Gary Cook. Yeah, I agree. And maybe we'll find out some way to give away some stuff for, like, when you guys become a channel member and you've been a channel member for 2 or 3 months, maybe we give you a hat or a shirt or a cup or something. I'll look at all that and see what we can do to make that a sweeter deal for everybody. Gorilla Todd LLC. Yeah, we're not changing the LLC. It's Trucker Todd LLC. And I'm going to hang on to that as long as I can because I've already got checks. I've already got checking accounts. I've got all this stuff set up for the LLC. I don't want to have to rebrand all that stuff. But I do like the Gorilla Gang idea. And I can see a whole line of merchandise coming off of that. Keith says it's O like O, so Kroll. Okay, Keith Kroll. Did I say it right that time? I'm big on that. I don't like when you call these foreign call centers for like AT&T or Verizon. They always mispronounce Todd every time. I guess it's not as common a name to them as it is here. Everybody knows how to say Todd in the United States. Good deal, sir. Thank you for correcting me. Keith said I'm pronouncing it correctly now. To me, it's just part of a respect thing. I don't want to purposefully mispronounce his name. So I want to be respectful of Keith and say his name the correct way. Damian Sanders says, hello, Todd. Hey, Damian, thanks for being here. Looks like most everybody's joining through YouTube tonight. Just looking to see if we got any LinkedIn or Facebook people here. It looks like everybody's from YouTube tonight. All right, well, we're waiting for you guys to type comments. If you hadn't done it yet, please, please, please give this video a thumbs up. Share it on your social media platforms and make sure you're subscribed. I know you've done it in the past, but YouTube will unsubscribe you. They like to play games like that, so make sure you're subscribed. Tell your friends about the channel. Everybody's welcome in here. And I appreciate each of you being here. Look in the little ticker below the screen. It's going to talk about the website. It's going to give you my email. If you got a truck, it's got an email there where you can contact Scott and see about coming over to work with me. If you don't have a truck, email me. I'll try to help you find one so that you can go to work with Scott or whatever you want to do. So yeah, there's a lot of great information there. If you click on the title of this video, there's a lot of great information. You can get that ES Advantage fuel card that so many of you are saving money with right now. There's a Mudflap code to save $10 on Mudflap fuel. There's a solar powered headset that I highly recommend. It's really good. People ask me all the time off the air, is it really a good headset? Yeah, I love it. And if you follow the instructions there, use the Trucker Todd coupon code, you get 20% off, which saves you about $50. Makes it real comparably priced to truck stop headsets, but it's a lot better quality, and it's solar powered, so you don't have to plug it in all the time. Damian Sanders says, I'm late getting on. How did the truck situation go? So the Kenworth's gone. I found another truck. It's probably not going to be ready until the weekend after Thanksgiving. Traded the Corvette off, got a little bit of cash to help me transition, and I got a super nice motorcycle that I may shoot some video of tomorrow if I get some time. Christian channel member says, I don't know why, but I just love driving trucks. I've shared this before. The first 20 plus years I drove a truck, I hated it, and I was looking for a way out. About 4 years ago, when I started this YouTube channel and started helping others and taking off the focus off myself, I started loving it. And I love coming out here, traveling the country, meeting viewers, going to truck shows, things like that, getting recognized at truck stops. So the last 4 years, I've really enjoyed it. And quite honestly, the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've really missed it. I told Scott about a week ago I'd probably do a load for free right now just because I miss being out there. It's fun, and generally speaking, I'm the happiest I've ever been. I have bad days like everybody else does, but I've got a lot to be thankful for, and I've got a lot to be grateful for. Why does the road call our name as drivers? Christian channel member says. I tell you, after I'm home for a few days, I need to go back to work so I can get some rest. I find that I work hard and I'm busier. Sorry, that Red Bull gave the hiccups. I found that I work harder and I'm more busy when I'm at home than when I'm on the road. So after I'm here 3 or 4 days, I'm usually telling my wife, I got to get back on the road. I'm exhausted. Channel member Robbie Ross says, when you get back on the road, you will be happy to see fuel prices are down. Yeah, but I noticed freight rates are down too. I logged into the load boards last week and got sticker shock. There's still some good ones out there, but you got to really dig and scratch to find them. Keith says, channel member, by the way, brand new channel member. It's a job like no other, Christian. I was out for too long, and now I am kicking myself forever leaving it. Well, yeah, that's the deal. You're out driving, and you think, screw it, it's not worth it. I'm going home. And then you get a regular job for $10 or $15 an hour, and you go, shoot, I'm making a day driving a truck what it takes me to make as a week working here. And you work a lot harder for, a seventh of the money or a sixth of the money. And so you end up kind of I call it painting yourself in a corner. I'm kind of that way now. Everybody knows if I could do anything in the world, I'd go back to selling cars. I loved it, but I've painted myself in a corner. I make too much money, and too many people, both in and outside of family, depend on me now that I'll probably be doing this as long as I physically can. Gary Cook says it would be funny if any subscriber gets your KW. Yeah, I would like to meet the guy that got my Freightliner at Swift. That was a good truck. That Kenworth, it's still got some issues that needs to be addressed. I'm sure the finance company is going to address those issues before it resells it. But keep in mind, the APU still hasn't been fixed. And so that's going to have to be addressed and some things like that. So, but yeah, I'll be curious to see what happens. I'll probably never know. I don't think anybody could watch my videos and be excited about buying a truck from Cordell right now. So I'd be real surprised if any of my viewers went to Cordell and bought a truck at this point. Keith, channel member, said it's not really even a job. It's more like getting paid to live a very particular way of life. Exactly. And it's tough because your family will do and say things that they would never do and say if you were in town. But you learn how to use your cell phone as a weapon. Man, that doesn't look good when you use the virtual background. But I can do a lot with a cell phone. I can fix a lot of problems and solve a lot of situations with a cell phone. Channel member Christian says people say they get aggravated with traffic and driving, but for me, it's a quiet place to think. Exactly. And, keep in mind, if you got a job locally doing anything, let's say you were a carpenter or, you flipped hamburgers or whatever you did, you're still going to have frustrations at that job too. You're still going to have a boss that's a jerk, a coworker that's lazy. You basically have the same type of problems no matter what line of work you're in. And this, at least you don't have a boss breathing down your neck. Large parts of the day, you've got, your privacy, your personal freedom out on the road. WCF Invader says, try the DIY semi-fuel card. I'm basically using it exclusively. Yeah, I talked about it a couple of episodes ago. I'm going to look into it, not because I think it's better or worse than what I got, but just because I think the more weapons you got, the better your chances are. So a guy that has 5 fuel cards is better off than a guy that has 1. You check them all as part of your pre-trip. Whoever has the best deal that day, that's what you use. In the ideal world, I would encourage everybody to get my ES Advantage card and DIY's card and Mudflap and their company card and compare them all each morning and take the best deal. And that's how you're ultimately going to save the most on fuel, because they're all going to be strong in different parts of the country on different days. Gary Cook says, do you pay for the trailer while it sits? So it depends at SRO Logistics which pay plan you're on. On the pay plan that Tim Back is on, he does not pay for the trailer while it sits. On the pay plan I'm on, I do pay for the trailer while it sits. Fortunately, Scott and I kind of saw this situation arising, and we worked out a deal on it where he's going to charge me overtime, take it out of big checks and things like that, so that it won't be a big hit. Keep in mind, my trailer payment is super cheap. I believe it's $550 a month. It's either $550 or $650 a month. I forget. Been so long since I had a settlement. But so being a month behind, I owe him say $550 or $650 right now. It's not going to be difficult to catch that up. No, the Cordell that I dealt with is spelled with a K, and it was in Dubuque, Iowa. That was T. Stifler asking, is Cordell in Dayton, Ohio? Spelled with a K, and it's in Dubuque, Iowa. WCF Invader says only fee for his fuel card is $1.50 transaction fee, and it beats all my other fuel cards and fuel apps. Yeah, what I need to do, and like I said, even if what I'd like to do ideally is maybe get DIY on the phone and us just pick a few random cities and see what our cards say. But it really doesn't matter if I beat him at every location or if he beats me at every location. I think I'd still like to have his fuel card as just another option. So I'm definitely going to look into it. Right now, I haven't focused on anything except getting another truck and getting back on the road. I've got so many things that I need to check into and get involved with that here real soon I'm going to be looking at things like that. And I definitely want to get it. Just have another option, another avenue to go down. But DIY, if you're still here, I know you got my email. If you'll email me the details on your fuel card, I'll sure take a look at it when I get a chance. And if he's not here, I'll shoot him an email in a day or two, if I can remember. Right now, my brain's going, call Alex after the show. Call Alex after the show. But I don't even know if he's still awake. I think he said he was going to bed. Let's see. No, I think he's still here. So I'm just trying to remember to call him after the show. Okay, Trucking with Liberty. He says, I got some videos about his car on my channel. What's your, is it Trucking with Liberty? Is that the name of your channel? If it is, I'll go check it out probably tomorrow. Trucking with Liberty says he can send you a mass email with his discounts. He sends me one daily. Yeah, forward one of them to me at todd@truckertodd.net, and I'll take a look at it. T. Stifler, I'm looking for a good company to drive for. I'm going to be a new graduate in December. Any suggestions? So here's the truth that a lot of people don't want to tell you. Pretty much the first year, it's going to suck everywhere. Most companies are going to take advantage. I call it boot camp. They're going to treat you really bad the first year. And then if you can survive a year at one company you're going to be a million times better off. So wherever you go, just do your best. Don't run over anything. Stay clean for your first year. And then a lot of opportunities are going to open up for you. So many things are out of control for you, like the trainer you get. If you get a good trainer, that's going to help. I know guys that's had 3 or 4 trainers. They get one bad one after another. You need somebody that's patient and willing to teach you, and expect to be frustrated at times. Expect to not know what to do. Expect to hate your trainer at the end of training. I had the nicest trainer you could ever have. At the end of 6 weeks, we were ready to go our separate ways. And then the second he was gone, I wished he was there, because they're kind of a crutch. And when you don't have the crutch, it's tough. But none of the companies are going to be super the first year. The pay and everything gets better after you get a year in. Yes, this channel is my main channel. All right, man, I'll check it out. That came with from Trucking with Liberty. If anybody else in here is interested in DIY semis fuel card, go over and check out Trucking with Liberty after this show, and he's got a bunch of videos about it. It'll probably be tomorrow before I can check it out. Typically, when I go off the air, I've got 2 or 3 hours of phone calls worth to do. Okay, good deal. Trucking with Liberty said he's going to email me a video to Todd at truckertodd.net, and that'll make it a lot easier for me tomorrow to check it out. Here's a good comment. Midlife Trucker channel member says, geography matters. Make a spreadsheet of all carriers with schools that are hiring in your area. Compare culture, home time, equipment, and compensation. Yes, those are great points. Also assume they're all lying to you. They're all going to tell you you're going to make slightly more than you're going to make. They're all going to tell you you're going to be home slightly more than you are. Swift told me when I went to truck driving school, you're going to be home every 2 weeks. When I got out on the road, it was 4 to 6 weeks. And so keep that in mind. Like I said, the first year is not going to be rosy. A good friend of mine that lives in Little Rock got his CDL recently and became a truck driver, and he found it extremely frustrating. And I kept telling him, if you can just survive the first year, and he didn't make it. He messaged me earlier today and said he'd got out of trucking. So that's a shame, but it happens. That first year is tough. Keith, channel member, says I made $700 to $900 a week at Swift back in 2015. When I first got my CDL, I didn't turn in any loads down. Kept moving as much as I could. It wasn't anything for me like the horror stories I heard. Well, and keep in mind, when we say this, a lot of it depends who your trainer was. And then when you got your own truck, how good a truck it was, and how good your dispatcher was. You may have got a good truck and a good dispatcher, and that makes it a lot easier. Now, my initial reaction, I would have been ticked at $700 to $900 a week, but it's not my first year. So, in a couple of years, you're going to expect that number to double. And if you're an owner operator, you're going to expect it to triple. And so that's what you're working towards. But it's kind of like starting at the bottom and working your way up. Channel member Midlife says, I made $64K at Millis Transfer over my first 54 weeks. That included training. Not great, but not bad. I'd say that's actually decent. Keep in mind, that was training too. But it sounds like Midlife did his first year, and then he went on to greener pastures. DIY Semi allows us to share it on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know DIY real well, but what I know about him, he seems to be a great guy. I wish I knew him better. Him and Cassius King both have been real nice to me on their channel. They've both been very supportive. They've kind of took the high road. They didn't take cheap shots like a lot of trolls did or make stuff up. they've been real supportive with good comments. So I want to be supportive of them too, and I'll definitely check it out. Skyline says, when I was at Swift, my biggest check was $1,300, but that was my first year. Wow, it went down after your first year. That's weird. Hey, my good friend Deontay Butler is here checking in. Hope all is well. Yes, sir. I'm glad you made it in tonight, my friend. Channel member Christian says, how is DIY Semi doing? I tried to call him and his phone was off. Ooh, that's not good. I had a battle with Verizon this week. They shut my phone off twice this week and then turned it back on. So if you tried to call me and the phone was off or I didn't return your call, it was probably Verizon's fault. Skyline says, I now make 105 a year or last year and went up since 6K since last year. Yeah, I think DIY, but let's when Skyline puts that out there, we got to put a disclaimer. Skyline's a hard worker. He's not a truck stop cowboy. He's out working, and so keep that in mind. Skyline's not saying they'll give you a check for laying on your couch and watching TV. If you want to make Skyline money, you got to do what Skyline does. Gary Cook says, Todd, are you a gorilla beater? I hope not. Man, I hope not. That doesn't sound right. Trucking with Liberty. I owe my entire company to DIY Semi. He's a stand-up man. Yeah, even when I was going through my situation, my turmoil this last few weeks, DIY behind the scenes was trying to help, was offering advice. He was actively involved a couple of times. That's what I say. A lot of people behind the scenes were involved in you're never going to hear me talk bad about DIY or Cash is King. I think he's another one out here that he's really trying to help people. Skyline says, yeah, I hustle. Yes, sir, you do. You don't have to watch very many of Skyline's videos to figure out that he hustles out here. Keith, channel member, says, are you company driving Skyline? Skyline says, yes, he is. Keith, channel member, says, company, cents per mile. He wants to know what you're making cents per mile, Skyline. Skyline says 70 cents after 5 years with Crete. Keith says, nice. Yeah, that's what I say. If it company or lease purchase with Crete, it's not a terrible deal. They used to have a reputation of micromanaging, but Skyline says he hadn't experienced that. So maybe they've corrected that and it's not a bad a deal as it was before. If I was going to go there, here's the truth. If I was able to go to Crete and I was going to go there, I would definitely use Skyline as my referral and I would call him for advice because he seems like a pretty smart guy that would give you good advice about how to succeed at Crete. Craig Hutchinson says, good evening, Trucker Todd. Good evening, Craig Hutchinson. Thank you for being here. Keith, channel member, says, I was getting 39 cents per mile when I left Swift. Yeah, that's awful. But, in 2001, when I left Swift, I was getting 28.5 cents a mile. When I came back a couple of years ago or a year ago, whatever it was, I was getting owner-operator pay, so I don't know what company guys were getting then, but I think it was only like 55 or 60 cents a mile for company drivers. Channel member Christian says, is it tough to get a contract for your company or just a company that wants you to always deliver their freight? Who was that for, Christian? Gary Cook says, when I finished my training at Schneider in 95, I was put in an 88 International cab over 9 speed. No joke, no AC, and 55. Yeah, my first Swift truck went 57 miles an hour. And I remember how excited I was when they turned it up to 60. And back then you could put $10,000 down and do a lease purchase, and then you got to go 65. And man, we thought that would have been the cat's meow if we could just go 60. Snyder in 95, I started at 22 cents a mile. So you got a better start than I did, Gary Cook. And I didn't know any better. I thought 20 cents a mile was good. By the time I got to 28 and a half, I was on that dedicated deal, and I thought I was doing real good. And I did that. That was 8.5 cent raises over 4.5 years. If there's a customer you go to and they really like you and want you back, can you turn that into a contract freight situation? If I assume you're talking to me, yeah, I've got a few brokers that one of them, he has a file on me, and anytime he knows a few loads I really like, and anytime he gets one of those loads, I get the first call. I've got another company, another broker here in Lubbock. They do they do cotton, and same thing. They would like me on a full-time basis. So yeah, as you build relationships, some people will call you. They'll say, I got an email a few weeks ago. A lady was going to have a bunch of loads going Austin to San Antonio. She wanted to know if I could cover any of them. Anytime I'm in the Gulfport area, I've got access to some loads running up to West Virginia that I can do anytime I want to. So if you take care of the customer and you're not a butthole, there's a lot of opportunities that pop up. Now, me being off the map for a month, I may have to rebuild some of that, but it's not hard to do. There's so many people that are sucking wind right now that are delivering late, picking up late, or delivering damaged freight. I did several loads of pumpkin from New Mexico to Dallas area, and I was the only one they said showed up without dumped pumpkins. And they were so excited. They were like, hey, do you want to do some more of these? I said, yeah, if I can make it work, I'll do some more. Same thing, I've got some U.S. mail runs I do that they love it when I tell them I can do one, because that mail is light. It'll fall over a lot of times, those cardboard totes. And I get in there and strap it in so it doesn't fall over. And so they think I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I'm not any better than those other drivers that are hauling those loads. I'm a hair lazy. I'll get in there and strap it down. I'll drive a little more cautiously. Part of like what me and Tim was talking about earlier. They know what they get when I show up. They know what they get when Tim shows up. And so they like that and they want it again. Now they know I'm also a little more expensive, but sometimes they're willing to pay that premium because they know what they're going to get. Skyline says, now we get mad going 68. Yeah. I had, my Swift truck would run 68 on the pedal, 70 on the cruise. Or no, that was backwards. It was backwards of what it should have been. It was either way, 68 one way, 70 the other way. And I still felt like it was dragging. I think it was 70 on the cruise and 68 on the pedal or something. But anyway, it felt slow. But a lot of times I ran at 60, 62 to try to get fuel economy. On a mileage contract, that's the way to make it. When you get on the spot market, it just depends on the load. You want to drive it as slow as you can and still get there on time. But you want to, if you need to go fast, you want to be able to do it if it's a load that doesn't have a lot of time on it. And if the rate allows it. So you just kind of have to weigh a lot of variables in your mind. Liberty, or Trucking with Liberty, says I started with rail on 2011, making 28 cents a mile. Wow. I wonder what rail pays now. I bet it's come up a lot since those days. Gary Cook says, is the Freightliner that you're getting a manual or an automatic? That I'm pretty sure he told me it was a manual. I've had so much information hit me lately that I had a bunch that was supposed to come today and they didn't get it over to me. So some of the stuff is still really, really sketchy as far as details go, but I'm working on getting the details, and I'm 99% sure it was manual, but I don't have all the details right in front of me. And I know some people are going to eat me alive for that, but it's just been, there's been a lot going on to where it's made the details foggy. The people that I'm dealing with on this truck are people that I have placed a lot of trust in, that I know pretty well, things like that. So I don't have a full clear picture yet, and there's still the ability for me to back out if we get to a point and I don't like what I see. Like I said, I've got 4 different truck deals to look at, but it seems like I remember him telling me it was a manual, like a 10-speed, if I remember correctly. Life on 18 Wheels, 2017 Covenant Transport, 33 cents teaming. Man, that sounds bad. Because you're splitting that, right? So you're getting like 16.5 cents a piece. Channel member Keith says, was your KW manual? No, it was a 12-speed automatic. I'm one that I don't mind. I don't mind either one. I'll drive a manual or an automatic. I think they both got their pros and cons. So I actually kind of prefer an automatic these days. It's a little easier, but I have no fears. I'll drive a 10-speed, a 13-speed, 18-speed. I don't care. Oh, well, that's not bad then. 66 cents split. That's not bad. You can make some money in that deal. Run 6,000 miles a week. Skyline says, love your lives, Todd, but I'm going to bed trying to be a responsible driver, my friends. You guys be safe and see you at the back hall. All right, man. I'll give you a call. Well, why don't you call me in the morning, like after 9 o'clock when it's convenient for you, and I won't wake you up, or tomorrow afternoon whenever you're free. And if I miss your call, I'll call you right back. But just call me tomorrow when it's good for you. Channel member Keith says, I'm really looking forward to an automatic. I had an 8-speed last. It was a fat dog in the mountains when I was heavy. I bet. I don't know that I've ever messed with an 8-speed. I've driven a few 9-speeds, and they're pretty much a dog in the hills too. Tim Back says, January 2006, graduated from Snyder School, got my CDL. Started 30 cents a mile. First week I ran over 3,000 miles, completely illegal with 2 logbooks. Almost got fired, made 1,000. Yeah, it's funny. You know, that's something about trucking companies, especially back in those days. The same guys that would dispatch you on those loads would threaten to fire you for doing them. So Snyder knew full well what they were doing when they gave Tim those loads, but then they get mad at him when he does them. If he'd have turned them down, they'd have been mad at him. But because he ran 2 logbooks and got them done, they threatened to fire him. Skyline says, okay, I will, Todd. Thank you. Yep. Have a great night, my friend. All righty. Channel member Keith, I'm going to check out your channel, Skyline. I think he's left, but yeah, y'all go check out Skyline. He's a good guy. All righty, we're caught up on the comments. We've been going 3 hours, which seems to be our standard time. If y'all got something else, throw it up and we'll jump into it. If you don't, we'll wrap this up and I'll get out of here. It's been a good night. We had a couple super chats. We had a couple new channel members. We developed the Gorilla Gang, and had some laughs along the way. I was able to deliver some good news to y'all. And now everybody's going to bed. So I guess my voice did it to all of you. Gary Cook's thrown up some stuff. Let's see what we got here. Snyder won't let you idle the truck unless the temperature was 20 or below. Yeah, Celadon, when they were around, they wouldn't let their guys idle their truck either. They had it set to where it would adjust the truck speed based on your idle time. So you'd see people in 100-degree heat at their terminals laying out under trees and laying on the couch in the break room because they couldn't stay in their hot truck. Did you figure out a way Apple can be channel members? I know you can do it on a computer or a laptop. I do have an Apple phone in my arsenal now, so I'll look at it this week and try to figure out how you can do it. Basically, I just need to watch one of my videos with my iPhone and figure out a way to do it. But I know if you can get on a regular laptop or a computer, you can do it from there. Anybody in the chat, if y'all know how an Apple user can become a channel member, if you'd kind of let us know. We didn't realize that people can't become channel members through Apple, and we're trying to figure out a workaround for that. Trucking with Liberty, throw up the DIY semi-fuel card discounts. Well, I got to look at them first. I hadn't had a chance to look at them yet. Christian channel member says, I'd like to talk to DIY if I remember he had a good deal going. Drive away is fine, but it's a lot of trying to get from place to place on your own sometimes. Yeah, DIY is the maintenance king. I would bet you, I know he did have a few lease purchase trucks. I would bet you if you get a truck from him, it's well maintained. And I would bet you he has an expectation that it continues to be well maintained. So that's good. I would think you're probably going to get a pretty good truck from him. Tim Back says, Gary, for us, it was under 30, over 80. Schnapp changed it in 2005. Yeah, and you got to remember, if it's 80 in a truck, it's probably, or I mean, if it's 80 outside, it's probably 100 in a truck. Channel member Keith says, this is for Tim Back. He says, you got to do it in a browser instead of the app. So I wonder if you could get like Chrome on your iPhone and go through Chrome and do it if you don't have a laptop available. CJ Hudson also says the Apple thing, you got to go to YouTube on the internet to do it. You can't do it on the app part. So that's two people saying that you've got to go through the internet. Try Chrome on your iPhone, see if you can do it that way. Go to youtube.com, through Chrome, and then you can probably do it. Yeah, Trucking with Liberty says you can't do it on the iPhone app. Keith says, channel member Keith says, log into YouTube in a browser and you can do it that way. All right, good deal. Thanks, guys, for helping out there. Gary says, that's cool. Tim Back says, all right, thanks, chat. Everyone have a great night. I guess Tim's checking out. Gary Cook says he can't sleep in a cold truck, or he can sleep in a cold truck, but not a hot truck. Yeah, to an extent, I can too. I can pack a bunch of blankets and I can make it through a pretty cold night, but I can't lay in my own bed. I've got sensitive skin and it'll tear my skin up. But all righty, we've gone to 3 hours and 5 minutes, covered a lot of ground. I guess I'm going to hop off here for tonight. And get ready for my phones to blow up. Let's see. We got one more. Channel member Keith says, I think I will check out as well. I'm glad things are looking up. I'm excited to see where it all goes from here. Me too, my friend. Thank y'all for joining me on this long night. We'll catch you on the next video. If you try to call me tonight and you don't get through, keep trying. Leave me a voicemail. I make a list and I do call everybody as quick as I can. Gary Cook says it best. Good night, Gorilla Gang. Thank y'all for being here. We'll see you on the